fathom it. You and I had a conversation.
Oh, dude, you know what I just realized?
What's that?
I don't think I hit go live. Are we just now live for the first time, guys? I think we're just now live for the first time.
We went all this time.
Bro, guys, this is...
I thought Gina was on there.
Yeah, she's on there, and she's just chatting with David.
Oh.
I didn't... No wonder they're not, like, responding to what we're saying. This is embarrassing. Wow, guys. So... The ATEM was live on YouTube.
Welcome to Drew the Catholic.
Oh, man.
All right, so where do we start?
Well, so this is what's dumb, because I hit go live. Oh.
Hi, people. We've been going for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We're going to need to get round 2 upstairs, too.
Oh, that's really embarrassing. We've been talking for like 20 minutes because I forget. So, okay, in my defense,
no,
I have to hit go live twice. I have to hit it on the box, and then I have to hit it on YouTube, and it's not set to just automatically go live. So,
hey.
Man, no wonder like no one's watching this. This is really stupid.
No shit.
He said it, not me.
He already cursed.
In my defense, I said, hey, maybe we shouldn't do live. Let's just record it.
I wanted to go live. We have people waiting to watch live. I'm so
yeah,
sorry,
they've been
guys.
waiting for an hour now.
Oh, man.
Well, let's continue.
That's so embarrassing. Well, okay, so...
Let's go back.
We're going to recover some of that because it was really good. Okay, now we have our wheels under us. Honestly, though, the first like 10 minutes of that was us going, how do we even start talking about this movie? Because it was so good. So now we've broken the ice with each other. At least we can just start. So tonight we're going to be reviewing the movie.
Who are you?
Who are we? This is Drew the Catholic. We got Daniel and David. Or Daniel and Stephen. What's his name? Oh, Gina, my wife just roasted me in the comments. She says, change your background color to beige because someone called me a boomer. Guys, in my defense, I'm sitting here, you guys are all chatting, and I am seeing it on YouTube. I just realized, I haven't gone live. That was stupid. That's embarrassing. Anyways, this stream is going to have spoilers. It's going to have heavy subject matter.
We're going to have the first half of this when posted, though, right?
I'm not recording either.
You didn't record it?
Why would I record it? We're going live. That's the whole point of going live.
Like I said,
Steven's mad.
Offered to say, hey, let's not go live.
Well, you know what? It would have been okay. Okay, I'll start recording it now. Now that doesn't matter though, so it doesn't matter. So I don't know. There's a lot of things in my brain right now.
Yeah,
there's too much. We should have Gina running this.
We should have waited like a day.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe we should have waited a day.
Or emotionally and mentally recovered from.
David comments, if you want the short version, go see the movie.
Yeah, guys, go see the movie. This was great. Thanks for hanging out with us. See you next time.
See ya.
Subscribe. All right, everybody.
Send us $30.
Let's go back.
So just to give everyone context of the past 30 minutes, here I'll basically do a quick review. We were saying that this was really heavy.
Okay.
I cried in the car.
You continue.
I'm
going to go get a drink.
Steven's going to go get a drink.
Because I need one now.
Yep. We have our whiskeys. The movie, the first thing, really what we had just finished talking about was the production quality of the movie as a Christian movie is really good, which is where I kind of wanted to start because I think one thing that you kind of assume when you're talking about Christian movies is that like, the message was good, but the story, like the production quality was bad.
We're finally bringing in the good production quality, and that's what
and the good storytelling. Yeah.
The quality of the writing, quality of the production, quality of everything, and it might not be 100% peak Hollywood, but it's for the kind of content that Angel Studios is putting out and what kind of war they're raging with big tech and big media. It's worth it. But yeah, man, it was a heavy movie.
It was really heavy.
And
it was. I was constantly amazed at how good the film was in terms of like it was entertaining. There was just enough comic relief, because you need that in a movie like this. Like, you really need it to like.
It's inspiring.
Reset you.
It's really it's a really inspiring story, and one of the things that we touched on earlier was it it started production in 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
What Steven said.
He said 2013.
2013, and then between
He's back.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
You said bring the bottle.
Great.
Gracias.
Where are we at?
I wish I had a cigar.
We were just talking about the production timeline of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Took 5 years to make from 2013 to 2018.
Yeah. So
And then-
And then it was locked in limbo in Disney's dark dungeon.
in 2000.
Which, I mean, take that as you will, everyone listening.
They did make a cartoon called Pinocchio, where there's an island with children.
It all that you know what? Maybe we're just gonna dive straight into the deep end here.
I'm so sorry. I jumped right back in.
It's let me just say the timeliness of this movie. Yeah, well, cheers. Yeah, well,
Cheers. They forced me to drink.
we didn't force you to do anything. You walked up there with your own free will. Now there's like all these people watching. I was wondering. I'm like, there's only like 2 people watching. Now we got like 8 people watching. It's so stupid, dude.
Okay.
In case you're just now hopping in,
yeah.
we talked for like 25 minutes, and I hit go live on the streaming box, but I didn't hit it on YouTube because for some stupid reason they make you hit it online as well.
Yeah.
Anyways, here we are talking about Sound of Freedom.
So the production starts in 2013. It takes 5 years to make. It sits in limbo for 5 years in Disney's little underground vault of darkness and evil. And then Angel Studios or Tim Ballard bought the rights back.
I don't know if it was Tim Ballard or the actual like director who like made the film.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure. But
The story, yeah.
he bought it back.
So they got the rights to it back. They then started pushing out the production or the
trailers and stuff.
the
Distribution.
distribution of it all.
Yeah, Angel Studios
And
picks it up.
So Angel Studios picks it up. They are going just balls to the wall marketing campaign, trying to get everybody pay it forward, buy someone a ticket that wouldn't otherwise go see this movie. Not so. Tim Ballard's organization that conducts a lot of operations that's very similar, if not the same, that you see in the movie is called Operation Underground Railroad,
Which is right here.
You can go to their website. Go to their FAQ page if you can.
Okay, is it the About Us?
If you scroll down, I would imagine it says FAQ.
Oh, you are Vision.
Yeah.
Our action plan, founder.
Yep.
Join.
So
there it is.
There it is.
FAQ.
So before watching this movie, I took the liberty and watched the Jordan Peterson interview with Tim Ballard and Jim Caviezel, and they add a lot of context. They add a lot of things. Somewhere in the FAQ in that interview, he mentions about the
conspiracy theories.
Yep, right there. So he basically
does not condone any conspiracy theories.
Yep. So one of the things that they tackled in the interview was, the mainstream media saying that you're part of this whole QAnon thing, and they're like, no, this is like my real life story. And even some of the other stories that Tim shares in that interview, like I can share with it later if we get to that point.
Totally.
But,
well, and I can corroborate that a little bit too. I mean, I'm no Tim Ballard. I wasn't like going into the outskirts of rebel territory and rescuing kids or anything. I did
Thailand?
Yeah, I did a 2-week mission trip in Thailand, and it was sort of like a test to see if you would fit in with this organization and wanted to get involved further. So we were mostly just traveling around and talking to people who were rescuing girls for a living. And in Thailand, it's a little different because instead of being stolen, their parents send them in because they're just so destitute and impoverished. So that's like the only option. And it's legal for prostitutes to work in certain bars. It's illegal technically for 18-year-olds, but there's loopholes they use to basically get them in there. Mm-hmm. And so basically what these guys do is they go to these bars where they're sold and they pretend to be a buyer. They pretend to buy a girl. They build a relationship, find out she's young, and then offer her rescue. Mm-hmm. Or if they find out there's multiple in one bar, they can get the bar shut down. And you would not believe every time they've done that, basically, it's been owned by some wealthy American guy and usually pretty plugged, pretty tapped in.
So one of the things that they, like part of the ending of the movie pre the credits is they start sharing information about how much money is in this business or this type of business of child sex trafficking. The United States is one of the largest, or if not the largest consumer of all that. And
absolutely.
So you probably remember this when you went to college, but back home in Arizona, any cop in the city will tell you that the human trafficking, Phoenix is a big hub for all that.
It is. Phoenix is a big hub.
Big hub.
LA's a big hub. I think
San
New York,
Diego.
San Diego.
San Diego.
Pretty much all the major cities are.
Yeah.
But Phoenix is has some notoriety,
Right.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
David says, oh boy.
Oh,
I don't know if I should
roasted.
read this. He says, as long as we're saying the quiet part out loud, this is just the dark underbelly of quote-unquote boutique sexuality, the public face of which is parades and pride flags. The underbelly is this. To which Gina replies, based. Yeah, the LGTV stuff. Well, there's some connections to be made for sure.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Well, so, it's in that Jordan Peterson interview, they talk about how, they talk about the whole QAnon connection and how they don't condone, how Tim doesn't condone it and we never condoned it and all that stuff. But then shortly after, and this is kind of the part that gets a little messed up and heavy, so be forewarned, he shares this case that he had in West Africa of what's called a baby farm.
Yeah, I know where this is going. Not great.
So guys will kidnap girls as young as like 13, rape them, impregnate them, and then use the baby for either organ harvesting, sex, or satanic ceremony.
This is all real. This is what's
Sorry.
so.
No.
I was playing footsie.
Yeah.
Jeez, not good timing. This is all real stuff. Like, I think it's like serious topics, right? But it's like this happens in our world. This movie wakes you up to that fact.
Okay, so the movie we talked earlier before we went live,
we thought we were live.
The movie doesn't ever show you explicitly what happens, but it presents it in a way that kind of what you said. It leaves it to your imagination.
You know exactly what's happening,
and it gets the message across, and you know exactly what's happening, right? So, Tim's on this interview sharing this stuff, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, Jordan Peterson goes into the psychoanalysis of it all, but then he's like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, these aren't humans. I think these are actual living, breathing demons doing this kind of stuff. This is demonic.
It's at the very least very much like possession or oppression or demonic influence. Mm-hmm. There is a lot of like
it's just evil,
occult influence in a lot of these things. Yeah, it gets really weird. This movie is really important for that reason, and this is kind of what I wanted to talk about mostly. I mean, the movie's good. Go see it. You guys are all required to go see it. Mm-hmm. What it should wake you up to is that this is like the actual world we live in. I think we all have this idea that we have made progress in the world, and it's safer, and it's
safe
more
here.
Just.
Even though there's more people in
but
slavery.
It's really not, because
no, it's safe in my bubble.
Right. Exactly. And so we have this illusion that we being, the postmodern West, have been victorious over religion and death and slavery. Mm-hmm. And it's never going to happen again. All we've done is exported it. We've just moved it offshore. Mm-hmm. And even then, they steal girls from the U.S. And the first move, so like Super Bowl, biggest human trafficking event in the country every single year. Mm-hmm. That's when most women in the United States are kidnapped and trafficked for sex. And what they do is they get you out of the country as quick as possible. They drug you up as quick as possible, and then they immediately sell you. And they sell you as many times as possible to as many different countries as fast as possible.
It's taken.
By the time you realize what's happening, you don't know where you are. You don't know what month it is. You don't know what's happening to you.
What language is being spoken.
What language is being spoken. Mm-hmm. And so they were really. I mean, this is not like just a couple thugs stealing girls. This is like a very meticulous, planned operation.
They said at the end of the movie, like $150 billion industry.
Yes.
And it's like
growing faster than any other illegal industry in the world.
It's surpassing drugs. It's surpassing all the other kinds of contraband. Mm-hmm. I think I can't remember what exactly he said. Every year, some 22 million images and pieces of child exploited material are uploaded to the internet every.
Said it's an increase of
5,000%.
5,000%
increase every year.
Increase every year.
That's insane.
Yeah,
that's like
Bitcoin can't even do those numbers.
Right, dude. I don't think we realize those numbers. Like
No.
we don't realize. So we don't realize how pervasive this is. Not just how perverse it is, but how pervasive. Like this is really an epidemic, and we're not talking about it. We're not told about it. They're trying to shut a movie like this down, saying like, "Oh, it's." I mean, what was the dumbest take I read? Some headline about like, "Oh, Sound of Freedom is like glorifying sex trafficking." It's like, someone didn't watch the movie.
Well, so
that's the best you got.
So Tim Ballard actually had a quote unquote journalist from Vice, which I find that name ironic given the subject we're talking about.
Ooh.
They're bankrupt, but they're getting bought out. Who cares? But so they had this journalist come along and go with them to a sting operation. Obviously, keep them at a safe distance from all the really.
So they can't ruin it. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
they didn't sting him?
No.
He wasn't the one?
Oh.
Go away, Steve.
Surprise! You're the one we've been watching.
Right. Okay. So Tim had this journalist from Vice come and go through, like, come with them down to, I think, the either Haiti or the Dominican Republic, and showed him the ropes, show him how this whole thing works, the number of guys that the crooks that they arrested, the number of children that they saved from this life. And when this journalist wrote an article about Tim Ballard and his operations and stuff, it was like, Tim Ballard is traumatizing children because they're doing these sting operations. Not about all the good things that came out of it. Yeah, it's total baloney squared.
Yeah, Tim Ballard has been taking kids out of homes.
Yeah.
They might not have been their homes, but
He's the Grinch.
Right? Yeah.
He's the Grinch.
Tim Ballard has been taking kids out of homes where they were quote unquote cared for.
Yeah.
Dude, no, it's really bad.
Isn't
so
that weird?
I want to bring up a couple of scenes of the movie, different than the ones we are.
Oh, okay.
Different ones,
Oh,
different
different
ones.
ones.
So, and I kind of want to filter this through my experience when I was volunteering with this organization for 2 weeks. I was on that trip because we got to see both sides of it. Well, we didn't get to go on like the actual rescue missions because that's like same sort of thing. They don't want you to like not just anyone gets to do that. But we got to go in some of the bars, and then on the other end, we got to see girls and little boys who had been rescued. And
It's not the direction I thought.
no. So we got to see both sides of this.
Okay.
And there was a scene in this movie that just reminded me of that in the most beautiful way. So the whole, like, one of the motifs in the movie, major spoiler alert, like, if you want to see it and not have spoils, just hit pause right now, go watch it, come back, hit play. There's this song that the girl plays, like a little drum thing that she does, and then she sings, and it's kind of the theme of the movie, and sometimes it's dark if something bad is happening, happy if someone's being rescued or whatever. The island scene, which, first off, the fact that they did an island scene and this was made before all the Epstein stuff, bro.
Oh, that's right. I didn't think about that. Go ahead.
He's just like,
Yeah.
this is,
Poetic
which
justice.
he probably knew, right? Like, he's probably like, yeah, I knew what I was doing. But the island scene, they do this island sting. They rescue like 54 children, and then all these children have learned this song from the girl and are singing it. And what's amazing about that moment is, like, all at once, you realize that the most horrible thing that could have ever happened has happened to all of these children, and at the same time, they're still children. Like, they immediately are singing and dancing because they're free. Like, that joy is just like palpable and real. And you could say, like, oh, it's just a movie. Like, in real life, they'd be all like still scared and sad and stuff. But, like, I can't explain to you, like, that's what I saw. We would meet kids. Like, I remember there were a couple of girls we met in Cambodia that were rescued at 6. And I met them when they were 12. And they were like normal kids. Obviously, deep psychological wounds, traumatic, physical and emotional, mental, spiritual wounds that, frankly, I don't think you ever recover from it. You learn to live with it, but you never recover from it. But it did not stop them from, like, still being joyful. That scene in the movie for me, like, I almost cried so hard because I was like, I've seen that. I've literally seen that in the face of a kid that's actually been through this. And it's real. Like, that is so real, which adults aren't that way. We, like, that would crush us, but there's something about children. They're so resilient, and it's such a beautiful thing. So I thought that was really cool.
The the scene that got me was so long story short, Tim's tracking this one guy who's like trafficking children into the U.S. from Mexico, and there's this little boy in the back, and they have all this evidence to arrest him. So then the border agents get the bad guy. Tim goes around to the other side of the car, opens the car. He speaks. So Tim Ballard actually speaks fluent Spanish in real life. So he's talking to this kid who's from Honduras. I think it's Miguel. Miguel. So he's talking to this kid, and Tim asks this kid like, "Hey, what's your name?" And the kid says Teddy Bear. So these kids are given these, like, for lack of a better term, pedo names, and immediately after Tim is told his name, or his name is Teddy Bear, he goes, no, what is your real name?
Right.
And that is like,
yeah, he's been given like this false identity.
This false identity, and then there's this almost divine.
Wait, Daniel, are you saying that an adult crafted and groomed a child into having a false identity that he started to believe and wear? Just saying. Anyways, moving on.
Meanwhile,
I think everyone gets what I was going.
I just feel like one of the main punchlines in the movie is God's children are not for sale, and because it comes down to the identity, I feel like we put an identity on ourselves, or one way, shape, or form we have all been hurt, and God looks at us and says, "No, that's not your name."
Yeah, what's your real name?
That's not the real name I gave you. So, I thought that was a beautiful moment.
It's also cool that his name is Miguel, which is Michael, which means there is no one like Yahweh.
Yahweh, yeah.
Kind of cool. Also Saint Michael.
Yeah.
Where Michael comes from. Yeah, pretty good name.
Yeah. So my scene was right after that scene, it goes to him and the little boy at a diner, and I want to look up how like accurate this is, like if this actually happened or not, or if this is just like something they added into the movie. But like he calls himself
Timoteo, like Timothy in Spanish.
And the kid has a
David just paid us another $20. He says the other one was to buy someone a movie ticket. This one is for your demonetization fund.
Thank you.
Thanks, David. Single-handedly supporting this podcast.
Send Bitcoin is more preferable.
So, but the kid has a medal on a chain, and it says Timoteo, and that hit me the most out of the whole thing, and that just
it just said Timoteo. I was like, I'm trying to look at that medal, and I'm like, is that like a medal of Saint Timothy, or?
You guys keep chatting. I'm gonna see if I can look it up.
Okay.
This isn't live.
I know, but that was what I was like, because I know. So I watched Jim Caviezel on, I can't remember what podcast it is, but it's a Navy SEAL.
Jocko Willink.
No,
not Jocko?
No, it's another Navy SEAL. It's like a newer guy, and I think he was Navy SEAL. Maybe he was Marines. I don't remember. He's bald as well, so kind
of like Jocko.
Like Jocko, but it's not Jocko.
Okay.
He always has interesting guests, but he was kind of telling the story of how he became Jesus in the Passion, and it was just that like prophetic. Mel Gibson came up to him and started talking to him, and he looks at Mel and goes, "You're gonna cast me as Jesus, aren't you?" And Mel like dropped his head and goes, "Yeah." And like, but it was like he already knew, and like he didn't even know that's what they were gonna talk about.
Yeah,
and he just knew. And did you?
I found it.
Did you find it?
I found it,
That screen live? Hold on.
That screen is now live.
Okay. Wow.
So according to Tim's website, the little boy really did gift that necklace to Tim. On it, it has a scripture reference from 1 Timothy 6:11 and the words "man of God" inscribed on it. It wasn't until Tim took it home to his family that they pointed out his name was on it. All right, now we got to look up 1 Timothy.
1 Timothy. Is it 6?
Yeah. Here,
6:11.
Yeah. So that's not right now. That's not live.
First
I'm gonna
Timothy
find it first.
6:11. Yeah. Hold on.
So yeah, that was my. But like, because Jim Caviezel, just like how he got it, and then like this was kind of like a prophetic moment of like this thing that's like what starts it all,
right?
And that's what kind of hit me the most.
Did you find that verse,
bro? That's sick.
What does
Check
it
it out.
So 1 Timothy 6:11, and this is the
New Revised Standard Version. Oh, I should just do the Catholic edition, not the Anglicized Catholic edition. Sorry, guys. I goofed.
His past is coming out.
Yeah, but as for you, man of God, shun all of this. Pursue righteousness, godliness, faith, love, endurance, gentleness. Yo, that's pretty relevant, too. That's pretty cool.
Okay. Okay, my mind is like blowing up right as we speak right now. Okay. I don't know where to go with this.
Richard, we're literally just said we're going to spoil the whole movie. So we've said that like 6 times. Sorry.
Little Richard, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So
basically the whole movie.
Right. I don't know.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Okay,
sorry,
but my point was just this, like, how he even got into it. Because did we retouch on like how he quit his job?
So yeah, and that was one thing he did. So Tim started his career as a government agent for the Department of Homeland Security, CIA stuff. He did, I think, 12 years or something as a kind of a anti-child, like child abuse. What's the word I'm looking for? Like
he rescued pedophiles, or
not?
He
rescued pedophiles. No,
by rescue I mean
guys,
delivered them.
The movie has a
freedom.
twist at the end.
Disney actually did write the movie.
No, okay, so he was government agent, CIA. He does sting operations to go after child porn, child abuse, or pedophiles. He does this for a long time. Eventually, he gets in a situation where he's having, he finds himself like wanting to rescue an actual child, not just put the bad guys away. So then he takes the liberty and going a step further and like, okay, let's build a relationship with this pedophile so that way I can get
that whole dynamic was so sick. What a great idea.
Well, so
the way he looks at him too.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he
so creepy.
So like any other kind of sting operation, you're developing relationships. You're just trying to get recon and intel. And then it kind of blossoms into this whole other spider web of evil that he slowly but surely cracks down on and actually rescues a kid, gets his dad from Honduras back to the States and gets him reunited.
So I want to focus on that sting op at the beginning. This is the very beginning of the movie, and he's just like busting pedos, like having a good time, like putting these guys in jail, going yeah. And this one guy's like, but like there's these kids that are still in trouble, and then he kind of has this awakening. So he goes into the cell. And then he pretends, and this is so funny because it's not funny, but it's so real. This is what they actually do in a lot of these sting ops and in a lot of these undercover things. He pretends to be a pedophile and says like, I can relate to you more than you think. So then this guy thinks that this agent can get him out and stuff. He builds this false relationship.
Yep. That
diner scene is so good because before I talk about that, I want to talk about how he's like, basically how he gains this pedophile that he just arrested's trust so that he can do this undercover op is he says, I'm like you. He convinces him he's actually a pedophile. He's like, I look at this stuff all day. How could I not want to go like experience it? And the guy tells him, I don't act on my fantasies.
BS.
Right. First off, BS, because he's like, what about your trip that we literally have photographs of you on, right? And then second off, though, that is so poignant to be said because it just shows the ways that we can justify our own sins by saying, well, this might be bad, but it's not that bad. And then we're either still doing something blatantly evil in the case of child pornography, but we're also complicit to a much greater, much deeper evil. It's like, well, I'm not molesting the kids in real life. I'm just watching the videos of the other guy do it. And he's like that as if that's better. He's like, I don't act on them. But he's still propagating this entire system that does. So somebody has to be doing it. So he's still complicit in all the way down to the bottom, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was really poignant. And I'm like, like if you were to like spiritualize this and almost read it as like a metaphor, like we do that with sin all the time. But especially in this case, there's so many ways that we're complicit just in slavery in general in the modern world. Is anyone wearing Nike shoes? That's like basically slave labor. Most of the clothes we wear, probably slave labor. What do you got? Oh, the iPhone.
That's my favorite.
Slave labor.
I have my my theory on iPhone in general, but
because it's
So-
got that bite of the apple.
well,
out of
no,
it.
but everything to it.
Co-
It's the sign of the
It's the mark of
it's
the beast.
the mark of the beast is our iPhones.
Cobalt is a critical element.
It's probably the best contender.
Cobalt is a critical element to create batteries because it can basically help not have batteries explode.
When I said let's rescue the pedophiles, David said suddenly monetization is back on and Disney wants to be a sponsor.
Oh, hey, Drew.
What the
How are
heck
you?
is going on? No. So, like I was saying, like the cobalt mines in the Congo, there's 15 out of the 19 major cobalt mines are owned by China, but then also a lot of the minor or smaller mines are artisan mines, which means it's literally women and children.
Dude, it's so bad.
It's so bad.
Well,
you
so
realize this stuff. It's so bad.
the end of the movie, I'm pretty sure the end of the movie is an exaggeration, but I don't think
you mean
that-
like him finding her. And
yeah,
carrying
I
her
don't think
out?
that actually happened.
Sure.
I think that's the part that's exaggerated, but like it's the story, like the point of the story that he's telling. But they do touch on like this. He goes into this remote village, and everyone that's working this
They're
cocaine
slaves.
field, they're slaves.
Yep.
And you know that part may be exaggerated on what he did, but you know that's real. And seeing that and everyone complaining, sorry, I'm going to say it, everyone complaining about slavery 200 years ago, but yet,
We have more
We're so getting
slaves.
demonetized. Go for it.
yeah, who cares? But like, it was so, that part was so real.
Yeah.
And it's like, that happens all over and no one cares.
This is a perfect time to segue for drewthecatholic.locals.com, where you can go and support us financially so we can continue bringing this amazing content when YouTube inevitably nukes this channel.
When are you going to move to Rumble?
Oh, we should start uploading on Rumble. We really should. I wanted to comment on that, though, too, because so, like, when I was involved in Destiny Rescue, that was the organization. When I say involved, that oversells it. I went there for 2 weeks. There was also a component of rescuing kids who were human labor trafficking. And, I mean, it's the same sort of thing, working fields, doing a lot of times illegal stuff, or just, like, buying slaves and taking them somewhere where they can use them for, like, goods that we buy, like clothes and all sorts of trinkets and things like that.
They have little nets around the factories in China to keep people from committing suicide, or the workers.
Yeah,
from committing suicide.
the nets in Foxconn. Yeah,
Foxconn, yep.
that was a big break.
They're not nets, they're trampolines. So they can get their air. Just take a little break. It's a Daniel Tosh joke.
There's this, guys, this stream,
Welcome.
just for anyone who happens to watch this later,
You
I
see
just
that
want,
1K sub play button that I got you
It's
a
actually
while
going
ago?
to go way up.
It might go way up. I just want to remind everyone who's watching at this point later, this was filmed, it's 11 p.m. right now. We just saw this movie. We're trying to cope a little bit
And
because
we
I cried a lot.
recorded for like
I cried a lot.
30 minutes.
That's why I
Yeah,
had
we
to
recorded for
bring
like
the
30 minutes
bourbon.
before I hit
Yeah.
live. Well, anyways, the human labor is a big part of this. And I think
Well, that's so the movie touches on child trafficking, but like if you actually go listen to his stories, it wasn't just kids.
right.
Like he rescues adults that are in it, that have been in it, and like it's not just like the movie focuses on child trafficking and there's a point to why it does, but he saved multiple people. Like it wasn't just kids, it was people that have probably been in it for a long time.
The hope for like my hope is that it, even though like you said the movie focuses strictly on the sex trafficking of these kids, it then if you just find that one crack, it domino effects across the whole board. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's kind of what I'm hoping to see.
Yeah, I think so. I'm
kind of developing my own little philosophy.
yeah,
That this movie's really helped me kind of help solidify.
explain.
Any good thing that genuinely decreases the world suck in this on this planet, and you can even throw in fostering the kingdom of Christ, they follow a similar trend. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win. And how this movie sat on a shelf for 5 freaking years
That's pretty wild, dude.
and poetically being released after all the island stuff and all the
Epstein.
the the things that
The conspiracies.
Not just the conspiracies, but the things that are actually freaking real.
Dude, when Ghislaine Maxwell's judge has her husband killed by a FedEx dude, you know something's wrong.
Or the fact that she was sent to jail and we have no idea.
She gets convicted for
things that were,
and we don't know who's on the list.
Who's on the list?
Yeah, but they have the list, dude. You realize, and this is kind of what I was saying earlier, and I can't remember. It's hard to remember what I said on the stream or when we thought we were on the stream. This is a very meticulously planned operation, and obviously it's not like it's one giant integrated organization doing all of it, but it could be. But the network of these people who are doing this trafficking with children for sex, they're not idiots. Like, well, some of them, they probably have like their henchmen. Like everyone's got like their henchmen, like the cannon fodder.
They're insulated.
Yeah, and it's very meticulous. It's very thought out.
George Soros.
Oh, now we're definitely getting taken all the way off the air. But it's serious and it's very real. And we have been insulated from how much of a problem it is. Mm-hmm. It's hard. I mean, we're dancing around it, but it almost seems as though there's a reason for that.
Well, so when I was going to be an actor, I think I've told you guys this story. I don't know if I've said it on here, but one of the first movies I worked on as a background actor, it was a gay film. I didn't know it was.
Oh, one of them LGTV films.
I didn't know it was. They lied to get people to submit, and then you get there and come to find out that's what it was.
False advertising.
Well, yeah, and they didn't pay me.
It's Hollywood, dude. They don't care.
So I just took it. I was supposed to be a prisoner, but you were actually a gay inmate at a conversion therapy, and like one of the actors was actually a legit actor. He was in Dexter, and so yeah, it was weird. So it was real, but what happened on set was I was one of the only straight guys there, and so I was talking with these other kids, and I say kids, they were 18, I was 22, and they were like, yeah, once we're done filming, we're gonna go back to the spa. And I'm like, Pop, I'm like, spa? What's the spa? And they go, well, the day spa where our sugar daddies are.
A little bit, please.
Maybe
not over the camera.
Yeah,
or the computer.
Tell me when. You can keep talking.
I know, it's just distracting.
Gracias.
So yeah, so these 18-year-olds are like, yeah, we got to go back to the spa. Our sugar daddies are waiting for us. We're gonna go meet up with them.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, and I'm like, how long have you been doing this? And they go, oh, 2 to 3 years.
And they were 18.
They were 18 when I met them, and they were telling
me.
So they were about
fill
15
in the blank.
Ooh, yeah. When they started, and I'm like, well, who are these guys? And they didn't say names, but they're like, oh, Hollywood.
Put on hush money or something.
I'm going to say it. Hollywood execs, lawyers.
That's not.
Yeah, and that was my first eye opener to what, like, you always hear about this stuff,
right?
But like that was like real. I met someone who had done it, but to your point of like, they were so integrated that it was normal.
Yeah, it probably didn't even feel weird or wrong.
And they were only 18.
And this is, man, we're just going all the way there. This is the ultimate goal of normalizing evil, is that you start by bringing up the thing that is not even allowed to be talked about and making it to where it's acceptable to talk about. And then you make it acceptable to show. Mm-hmm. And then you make it acceptable for some to do. And then you continue showing it and talking about it so much that you become numb to what you used to believe about it. This has been how the West has changed its entire sexual ethic on everything from, let's just say, baby control. I'm using words that aren't the real word, to termination of, to. Yeah, smishmortions. Yes, that's good. Smishmortions.
Smishmortion.
And Bort control. And LGTV.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
it's like when you put a frog in water and you slowly simmer it. You slowly simmer it for what, 60s, almost 60 years.
One of the, like, before we were kind of talking about how like we felt after
we should clip
this.
Smurf control.
Smurf control.
That's the soundbite. Smurf control.
Smurf control.
Schmishmortions and Schmorsh Control.
Sean Connery trying to talk about Schmorsh Control.
So, but we were kind of earlier, we were talking about how we like felt watching the film. And
yeah. I cried a lot.
Well, so I cried a lot, but like you guys, it hit you guys harder because, well, you have kids. I don't have kids. But to the point of what you were saying, that we've been kind of desensitized. I mean, for a movie, I've seen worse in movies.
Right.
So like it didn't hit as hard. Like it hit hard. And I'm not saying, but like I've been so desensitized that it didn't hit as hard as it should have.
The type of content that's readily available.
And we talked about this earlier, but the way they filmed it, they don't show anything. It's PG-13, and it does all this stuff to where like it makes you think of what's happening, but it doesn't have to show you. And that's way more impactful than actually showing you what it is.
Yes.
But coming from someone who, you know, I watch horror movies that are like graphic and all that and gore, and I've gotten to the point where like that didn't hit me as hard because it doesn't affect me. But that's like, if you want something that tells me something about myself, that's a problem in itself, because I know it's wrong, but I've seen so much already.
Imagine
that it's hard. No, what did he say?
So we were doing Schmorf Control. Oh. David Subpoena comes in with the win, dude. Number 1, life expectancy minimizer. And propagation interference. Those are great, dude.
Great.
David, keep going, man. All right, Steven, where were you?
Oh, no, but I was just, you know, like this thing that should hit me harder because in a film. Mm-hmm. Like if I saw it in real life, obviously it would hit me way harder. But like because it's film and I've already
seen,
you're
used to seeing like someone fall into a wood chipper.
So here's an example.
Spray everywhere.
Well, here's an example. So I went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3, like 3 weeks ago, and there's an F-bomb. They just right in the middle of the movie. It's hilarious, but it's an F-bomb. It's the first F-bomb in the MCU in 15 years. See, that was my thought.
We've clearly had that before.
Clearly said that's how integrated it was. They slowly did little things to make like
who would have known that in 15 years I've cursed that much more than the Marvel universe. It's not hard to do. I curse a lot actually.
But the point is, like, everyone that heard it probably went, "Oh, that's normal," because I did.
Right.
And then I come to find out
it's the first one. Yeah.
So I had already gotten to the point where I expected it. And they had never even done it.
Right. So now it was even that with insert other advice here.
So but that's what they've done for the last how long? They keep adding these things.
This got so spicy so fast in this stream.
Yeah, did it?
No, I'm just saying us. We're talking about.
But it's like we've gotten to the point where we're so far down the rabbit hole. We actually expect things before they even happen, and and it's normal. It's normal to see things that we haven't even seen yet.
On the subject of desensitization, one of the things that Tim Ballard has talked about outside the scope of the film was how his brain, and this is his words, is basic. He has holes in his brain because of all the child exploited content that he had to witness and watch. And then as a dad, like Drew and I are, all you're doing is superimposing your kid's face on this child that is literally
even just seeing the kids in the movies that I knew were actors in a very safe situation portraying it, I was viscerally angry to the point where I was shaking.
So Tim talks about the mental toll and how his brain is just filled with holes and Swiss cheese because of all this content he had to watch for court cases. And then the island scene, and then also the scene where he goes into the South Rivers of Colombia to rescue that one girl, and having to kill a guy, the post-traumatic stress that comes from that, it's like, and I know something that Drew and I have talked about in the past, Stigmata, where Padre Pio has
St. Francis,
well, St. Francis, Padre Pio, I think
there's some others,
Saint Rita, I think she's another one I heard about.
Stigmatists, apparently.
Yeah. So basically, could you just briefly explain what the stigmata is? Just really
So
briefly?
stigmata is when someone mystically begins bearing the physical wounds of Christ in their bodies.
as he was suffering on the cross.
Yeah.
But they don't always equate to what it actually was. It would have been
Right.
more
It
of
was
a...
similar, if
Yeah.
not roughly the same.
Right.
So anyway, so I'm listening to this interview on Jordan Peterson and the things that he had to go through and the stuff that he was exposed to and the PTSD that comes from it. And for whatever reason, my mind went straight to the Stigmata and Padre Pio and guys like that. It's almost as if, like, within the movie, you have this message of, I don't know how exactly Protestants like me and Catholics like you guys differ on the theology of suffering and the fruits that come from that. But it's almost as if Tim Ballard went through this process of taking on his, like, a stigmata where he goes to the dark places like Jesus went to.
Yeah.
He is exposed to the darkness that Jesus wants to fight and bring light to.
No, I think that's exactly right. Like Catholicism has a really robust view of suffering, and I think that's exactly how it works. Like this view of Christianity where you just come to Christ and then that solves all your problems and your
Prosperity
life's great.
gospel.
Yeah, that's just junk,
Garbage.
bogus, dude. You come to
You should
Christ
hear
and it
Jim
gets harder.
Caviezel actually talk about it. It's pretty
Oh,
funny.
really?
Oh,
What?
yeah. Jim Caviezel on that podcast with that Navy SEAL, he talks about the prosperity gospel, or what he calls bullshit.
Beast.
Oh, it's
Just
great.
he's just correct.
That's amazing.
But yeah, sorry, keep going. Or you leaving?
No, I'm just gonna change the camera settings while you guys are talking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, not only does he have to face this suffering on the outskirts, now he has to bear it. Like, that's what's so, that again, going to that like medallion or whatever it was, where it's like, oh, you think this is hard now? I have something greater for you, and it's going to be so much worse.
Right.
The thing that Tim talks about is not in the film. Again, back to the interview I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about how he tried for so long to bear the darkness on himself, but eventually he gets to a point where he just says, I'm giving it all to Jesus. And that's the only way that he's able to get through this.
I mean, that is the only way. He has to do that in a way more intense way that I could ever compare.
Yeah.
Even just from my 2-week trip, guys, it took me years to process what I saw. It took me, like, I'm not kidding you, literal years. And this movie for me was actually traumatic. Oh, it was traumatic. It reawakened my trauma. No, but like it really was traumatic for me because I was like, for 2 weeks, I got to see this stuff in real life. And then this showed me the other side that I didn't even get to see. And it just brought all of that back. And there is a sense in which when you see evil in the face, like you see it palpably. Because we did. I walked, I think it's called Nan Plaza in Thailand. It's a 3-story building surrounded by a whole block. And there's a Hooters there. There's all these American companies just outside of it. And inside that 3-story building, every single bar is selling women for sex right there. We walked through it our whole trip. Every guy in there looked like my dad or my grandpa. And I stared them in the eyes. And it took me years to get over just that. And I wasn't rescuing girls. I wasn't facing them or arresting them. But just seeing a guy doing what Steven's doing, drinking a beer, getting ready to go in and commit a heinous act of evil, it's so hard to have hope in the world. Like, you don't without Jesus. You don't see that and have any hope in the world.
Part of the reason why Tim was assigned to go hunt down pedos and fight the child porn stuff was because, full disclosure, he is Mormon, but he claims that it was because...
What?
Right.
Let's keep going.
Anyway, so he claims because he has a faith-based, quote-unquote, faith-based background.
I think Angel Studios is Mormon too. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
they're Mormon.
We got to buy them out. Sorry, keep going.
Anyway, so but basically, long story short, he claims that it was his faith that leadership thought he would be the perfect, or more not perfect, but a right man for that type of job because
Right.
they're hoping that because of the stuff that he's going to have to do, this faith was supposed to insulate him from being corrupted, essentially.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely. I mean, that's accurate. Like, if you don't have some higher view of what all this suffering can mean, just makes you mad, and it still makes you mad. Like it still makes you mad, but like it just makes you hopeless.
The hardest part is like not just being so consumed with how great the darkness is, and you have that knee-jerk reaction, and you want to just like quit your job and just go through like sniper school and go hunt pedos.
I think
in the middle of the
every
jungle.
guy watching this movie had the
that
thought of like, dude, I should just go buy a bunch of guns and drive across the border and just like shoot all these people. I think it's a very natural thought to have.
Right.
This is the challenge that I've thought about this lately, and especially like after this movie, I'm like, this must be a good reflection. Would Jesus forgive a pedophile who has repented?
We talked about this a little bit the other day. So it's funny. Jim Caviezel, he says that is the one sin that is not forgivable.
He says that.
He said that.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
But
and like, what was his defense of that statement, though?
Support for that statement.
Yeah.
It was is it Matthew or Mark?
Oh, like yeah. It would be better.
It would be better.
And
to
he
have
actually
a
quotes it.
Can you look at that up? It's
Yeah.
It's
Gotcha.
better to have
a
a
millstone tied to your neck than to harm one of the children.
a Yellowstone.
A millstone.
Millstone tied to your neck, thrown into the sea, than
Something,
to hurt one
yeah.
of these children. Yeah.
Right.
And he quotes that in the movie.
He does quote that in the movie.
Actually, at the sting operation. with
Yeah,
the
that
lasers.
was
I
so
think it's in it
good.
And so he
Matthew?
says that is
It's in Luke.
Oh,
Luke.
It's probably in It's probably in
It might
Matthew as
be.
well.
Okay.
But
he quotes that in this interview, and he says that's the one sin that's not forgivable.
here, let me get it up. We'll read it. I'll tell you when it's live. Keep going.
I'll push on that because
The only sin that's not forgivable is blaspheming the Holy Spirit.
yeah, and but the reason I push on it is because there is a character in the movie, and I'm assuming he's based off a real character that does an unthinkable thing to a child on accident, doesn't know,
Right.
but he still partakes in the sin. And I know for Catholics, we have accountability, like to know, like in order
Right.
for it to be a mortal sin, you have to actually know
You have to have full conscious knowledge and
that you
participation
of what you were doing, and
Yeah.
he didn't.
Right.
But still, he is. I would say if this guy literally does the thing he does, and then turns around and actually starts saving people,
Right.
And repents, like I believe you can be saved. And there's recently found out that Jeffrey Dahmer, before he was
baptized.
before he was executed.
Mm-hmm. So here's the verse, and then I have some comments on that.
So
The verse is, Jesus says to his disciples, occasions for stumbling are bound to come, but woe to anyone by whom they come. It would be better for you if a millstone were hung around your neck and you were thrown into the sea than for you to cause one of these little ones to stumble. Be on your guard. If another disciple sins, you must rebuke the offender, and if there's repentance, you must forgive. Well, there you go. Because it says like that finishes with forgiveness. But
I had a friend of mine years ago who I would loosely call him a rabbi. The closest thing I've ever had to it. I'm not even Jewish, and I'd call him a rabbi.
Was he Jewish?
He was Jewish. He was raised.
Okay,
then
he's
I
probably
think he
a
was raised,
rabbi.
I don't remember if it was like Orthodox or Hasidic, but anyway, he said when you die and go to heaven, there are going to be 3 surprises: who's up there, who's not up there, and the fact that you're actually up there.
This is true.
And it's you think about guys like Osama bin Laden. When SEAL Team 6 finally got him, it just makes you think about like who are we to judge, and that's what Daniel means. God is my judge.
Yeah.
And I have to constantly remind myself of that. Not necessarily because I'm judging everybody, but because I tend to judge myself a lot worse. But so the point that I'm trying to make is that when you're in these situations, when you live in a broken world, when you yourself may or may not have, or may have been molested in some way, and that kind of, because you have to remember, like, you can hate whoever you hate for abusing you, but at the same time, 9 times out of 10, they themselves were abused.
Yeah, it's true.
And so it's having enough of that grace and that mercy.
Well, right.
To say, hey, you suck, but I understand you're just as broken as I am.
This is the amazing part about grace, because I would disagree with Jim as well on that. I would say that, like, I don't like to say it. Would the carnal part of me rather see every pedophile thrown in the ditch after being, like, tortured? Like, the really, like, vindictive part of me would probably be like, heck yeah. That's what we should do.
No. I would argue that they need to go to prison, because then in prison they're the lowest on the totem pole, and they're the ones that get offed.
Prison does not go well for pedophiles usually. But, and, like, the vindictive part of you wants to go, that's good.
You want that. But
it's not.
So
this is hard.
It sounds so bad, but I'm going to say it. Like, the whole point to be Christian is, like, and I'd push. We're allowed to judge. We are 100% allowed to judge, because if we can't judge, then we can't show people what they're doing wrong. But that doesn't mean you are not doing something wrong.
Go ahead.
So, like, the whole. We'll just go into what I was saying. Is how can we as Christians? We want more people to get into heaven. The world has corrupted these people. If I just go and say, you know what, burn in hell,
right?
Then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Like,
right.
You said it. Every person that does wrong probably had something done to them that caused them in the first place to get to this point.
And it doesn't justify their actions.
It doesn't, but it doesn't stop that person from being saved.
Right. And, well, it's the crazy part about, so I can anecdotally bring something into the situation. I knew a guy, I don't know what his ultimate faith decision was, but I worked with a guy who got arrested for child pornography. I'm not even kidding. It's crazy. I was working at Telluride, and one of our coworkers one day didn't show up. Yeah. He wasn't from there originally, but, like, And then I'll never remember with his other coworker who's a total pothead, and he came down on the gondola. He was like, dude, so-and-so got arrested for kiddie porn. And I'm like, whatever. And then, sure as heck,
news broke.
He got arrested for child porn. And I remember the responses of everyone that was, I mean, I can't remember individual responses, but there was everybody but 2 people that spent the next, rest of that season dunking on the guy. Rightly so. And there were 2 people that didn't. Both of them Catholic. I wasn't at the time. One of them was the artist that I did the video of, and another one was that really nice lady, sweetest lady in the world. They both visited him in prison, and
got his story,
and he said, "I did it. I have a problem, and I knew I needed help, but I was afraid to ask for it because I was afraid that would put me here. And now I see that by not admitting it and not asking for it, now I'm here." Mm-hmm. And he owned it and he accepted it. And they gave him a Bible, started praying with him. And that hit me really hard because I was like, oh, that probably should be my response.
Yeah.
But it's not. I wanted to beat the crap out of him with my ski poles.
Yeah.
Because I'm human. But that was grace, man. It was so beautiful.
Take pedophile out and put drunk driver who killed someone.
Who killed your kids or your wife or just someone, yeah.
Have you ever been a friend of someone who made a mistake?
Right.
And everybody else is the one chastising him, and it's like, yeah, he did wrong, but that, like, what about, he still needs people. And I get it. Like, it's it's not an easy topic. It's hard, but, like, there still has to be some form of, there has to be grace. Paul murdered Christians.
Yep.
Saul murdered Christians. Jesus said, "Hey, you know that thing you're doing? You're really good at it. How about instead of killing people, you save people instead?"
Yep.
He did.
So the thing that comes to my mind, I think it's in Genesis, I think it's in Genesis. It's the story of how Abraham lies to Pharaoh,
yeah,
and says that Rebecca is his sister, not his wife. And then if you skip forward a few chapters,
Sarah,
it's
Rebecca,
Isaac.
Isaac is Rebecca's wife. Sarah is Abraham's wife. You flip flop.
Oh, yeah,
sorry.
Yeah,
same unimportant.
Yeah. Anyway, so Abraham makes this one mistake, and then Isaac makes the exact same mistake, and then that's kind of where we
Like
get the
father,
verse.
like son.
Well, it's the sin of your father will be passed down to even
The third and fourth
the third and
generation.
fourth generation, and the hope out of that is that a little bit after that part it says my love will be passed down
to the thousands
of generations. My great grandmother was the first Christian on my mom's side in our family. And, it starts with her, and then it kind of goes a little with my grandma, and then a little bit more than my mom, and then I'm probably where I'm at today because of her decision. So there's the hope of it all.
Right.
So.
Well, what's funny about that is Sarah probably was Abraham's half sister, at least. Weird times. Or cousin. Yeah. So the word sister could have applied because she would have been a relative of some sort.
So it wasn't necessarily.
Are you saying that they're from Arkansas?
Yeah.
Back then?
Arkansas, the Chaldeans.
Yeah.
The Chaldeans.
Doesn't make it right. But
he also thought she was barren, so what did he care?
Yeah, and then he cheats on her.
And then, that's how.
Even though it was
Ishmael.
her, yeah.
Human population over.
We make mistakes, guys.
No,
gosh.
not me.
All right. What else?
My wife asked, does the movie give any sort of recommendations on what the average person can do to fight something like this that seems so big and out of our hands?
So what it recommends is go see the movie because
pay for someone
Which does sound
else's
self-serving.
ticket that either wouldn't be able to afford it or they wouldn't normally go see it unless it was given as a gift. The one thing I want to say though is, nonprofits, even though they're nonprofits, you still have to market. And I don't mean this. Go ahead.
The awareness.
Well, the awareness, but you have to market your cause and your organization. And we got a plenty of nonprofits here in Montrose, and they all do great, wonderful things. Dolphin House, Life Choices,
Way to just dox us on the internet, bro. Everyone knows where we live. Okay.
We've talked about this before.
No, I know. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
It's cat's
His
out of the
address.
bag.
We live in Montrose,
My
Florida.
social security number is.
We live in Montrose, Florida.
Montrose, California.
There is a Montrose, California.
There's a
there
Montrose,
is a Montrose.
Illinois. There's a
No, bro. We got the name. We have to go destroy every other Montrose so we can be the only one.
You're right. No, so
to destroy the band too. There's a band named Montrose. Yeah,
there is a band name.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Anyway, so every nonprofit to some degree, you have to market yourself, and I just and I don't want to mean say this in a negative light or anything. And it's not intended that way. The outcome of the marketing of this movie and the awareness that it is bringing, and the mainstream media's reaction to this movie, and how the guys at the Daily Wire are taking this and running with it is wonderful.
It's becoming a movement, and I've noticed there's been a lot of talk about it. I think this is good, and so I keep going back to my trip, but when I got back from that, all I could do was tell people, which the last thing people want to hear about from you is hey, I saw evil in the face, and I saw kids that had been raped repeatedly 5 times a day for 10 years. Do you want to hear about how awful that is? People are like, dude, buzzkill, right? This movie is that times 1,000, and it needs to happen though, because that's the only way, you get enough people mad about it to go, we're not doing this anymore.
Well, we're so desensitized that people need to know that this is real.
I see.
Gina says Drew accidentally discloses our location almost every episode.
You had the guys from Life Choices, or some people from Life
That's
Choices.
true.
Talk
Yeah,
about this.
you're right. But that episode got no views because YouTube was like, it's schmamortion. Just demonetize and this episode's going to do.
Bro B. Vade got overturned. Your boy Clarence Thomas
Bro
doing
B. Vader.
Bro B. Vader. Your boy Clarence Thomas be like,
Dude,
what
Clarence
you got?
Thomas is potentially carrying this whole country on his back right now. We're
He
have
must be
a
protected
coronary
at all
artery
cost.
bleeding, and Clarence Thomas just comes in and just sticks his thumb in it and is keeping us alive.
He is a national treasure that needs to be protected at all cost.
He's Catholic.
Is he?
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Most
of the Supreme Court's
is
Catholic.
Catholic.
Amy Coney Barrett, Thomas Clarence, Brett Kavanaugh.
Brett Kavanaugh.
Esposito, or what's his name? Esposito.
So 4.
Supreme Court.
4 out of the...
I think it's more than that. I think it's
Is
5. Yeah, I think it's 5.
1 Democrat?
Hey, there's no
more than
comment.
one.
No comment.
More than one. I would think.
Catholics on the Supreme Court 2023. We're Googling it.
The Google machine.
To go back
There's
to...
6.
6? So that means...
6 of 9
So that means at
justices
least,
are Catholic.
At
Well,
least 1.
okay. Okay, hold on.
Okay,
Stop.
Justice Roberts,
Yeah.
Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito.
Yeah.
I said Esposito.
Esposito.
Sonia Sotomayor.
Yeah,
and,
there's-
Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney
Yeah.
Barrett.
So she's the
Yeah.
outlier.
But still.
She's the blank piece of note paper at the
Amy Coney Barrett.
yeah.
There's some really good shirts about that.
Are
There's
any
a
of
lot
those,
of good
are any
political
of those
shirts.
Catholics Democrat?
Yeah, the last
I think
the
Sonia
girl,
Sotomayor
she
is.
Well,
Yeah, everyone else is. But
I'm sure she votes or she sides on the,
Oh, yeah. No, she
Mhm.
does. She's, yeah.
excommunication.
but even even if you just count the 5 who, I mean, that's crazy, man.
as dope.
Roberts is a little...
Roberts,
He's the weird one that
he-
tends to go back and forth.
he
right?
he tends to be like the neutral
line.
vote. Yeah, he tends to kind of hold it from just being what it should be.
yeah.
Damn.
But it should be.
right.
Oh man, like if
There's
this was
always
like
one.
50 years ago, there would have been so many political comics about like the Pope running the Supreme Court. Frankly, I'd be in favor of that though. So,
Anyway, back to the movie.
unironically. Man, yeah. What else about this movie, guys?
Oh, can I just touch on the whole forgiveness thing?
Yeah.
So I learned 2 days ago, like, being new to being Catholic, the Our Father prayer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you said it a lot.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like,
I say it almost every night.
Okay. Well, like,
Daniel's more Catholic than some Catholics, dude.
so, no, but I mean, like, when I was in
it's just that you even say a prayer every night. That's a joke. It's a joke.
so when I was Protestant, we never said the Our Father.
Mhm.
It got to the point where it was like, well, you don't want to get comfortable with
Vain
it.
repetition.
But so literally,
Sorry.
I didn't know the Our Father until I started looking into Catholicism. But there's one verse in it, or one line. What is it? I'm gonna butcher it now because I'm trying to think of it. Forgive my trespasses
As I forgive those who sin.
I forgive those who trespass
Forgive
against me.
You're right.
And the concept of it, and I learned this the other day, and I never thought of it, is it says, "Forgive me my trespasses, as I forgive those
Right.
who trespass against me."
So it's like assuming that you were also forgiving people.
Yeah.
Yep.
If I'm not able to forgive, then I'm literally telling God, "Don't forgive me," if I cannot forgive first.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Psalm chapter 4. I think it's verse 8. I could be off a little bit. In peace I will close my eyes and sleep. For you alone, O Lord, I will dwell in safety.
You think it's Psalm 4?
I think it's Psalm 4. That's another good one that I quote and pray before I go to bed.
Are you thinking of the
In peace I will both close my eyes and sleep. For you alone, O Lord, I
pray
will
the
dwell
Lord
in-
my soul to keep, and if I die before I wake, pray the Lord my soul to take? Are you thinking of that? Oh,
I don't
okay.
listen. I mean, I love Metallica, but I don't.
No, because that's a prayer that the Metallica stole.
I know, right?
Oh,
but I'm just-
yeah, okay, you were
whoa,
right.
whoa, no. Did
in-
you know? I'm pretty sure they're Christian.
Oh, I
They
don't know.
were
James Hetfield was raised. It's like a weird form of Christian where science is bad.
Yeah.
Oh, they Christian scientists.
But like, that's why a lot of their songs are very Christian.
They were, dude. They're Christian scientists. They're
No,
not
yeah,
Christian, by the way.
Well-
That's a misnomer.
Metallica's
But they're-
sophomore album, Ride the Lightning, there is a song called Creeping Death right out of the book of Exodus.
Mm-hmm.
So you are correct about that. It's the very end of the psalm.
Which verse?
Psalm 4, verse 8, I will both lie down and sleep in peace, for you alone make me lie down in safety.
I read NLT or NIV or ESV, so that the language is going to be a little bit different.
Go to the NLT. Actually, no, let's go to the ESV, because out of all the three you named, that's my favorite.
That's my favorite.
In peace I will both lie down and sleep, for you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. Yeah.
That's what you get when I go to a Pentecostal church.
They probably don't. Do they use the ESV at your church?
They use so a lot of the verses that they quote is from the ESV. They
Really?
feel the pastors that I have, they feel that ESV is closely to the original language, like the Greek and the
It's
Hebrew.
pretty good. Are they Reformed leaning, like like Calvinism?
I don't think so.
I wouldn't imagine. Usually, charismatic churches aren't.
It's Assemblies of God. They're associated with Assemblies of God.
They're not. Then they're not. So it's funny because the ESV is kind of more Reformed leaning. But
honestly,
I
like
know one guy
Reformed,
that goes to church with you, and he is a Calvinist.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it Reformed?
Yeah.
Calvinism.
Yeah.
That's
just call it
one
Calvinism.
It's Reformed theology.
I don't think we're anywhere close to Calvinism.
Okay.
But that Reformed theology isn't even really Calvinism. It is a branch of.
Yeah.
Because there's.
It's really like they take Calvin's view on soteriology.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Because they disagree with a lot of Calvin. Wasn't R.C. Sproul's is Reformed theologist?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's a Presbyterian, so that makes a lot of sense because that branches straight from Calvin.
And then John MacArthur, who he's friends
is not
with,
a Presbyterian,
but he's a Calvinist.
Very much Calvinist.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is just James White Calvinist?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
James White is a Calvinist like the Pope is a Catholic.
There's a new video. It's like James White rebuttals James White.
Oh, I was gonna make that joke. Dang it, dude! Someone stole it from me.
So
I had all this ideas of how I could make him debate himself.
I don't remember.
Someone got to it first.
I don't
every
remember
time.
exactly what my mom and I were debating about, but she supposedly is a fan of James White, and I called my cousin-in-law, and I told him, like, yeah, my mom and I were talking about James White, and he goes, oh my God, no, not James White.
Dude. Yeah,
I mean,
here's the deal. So when I was in college, James White had a good reputation among the Calvinists who liked to yell at people. And then he also, I think back then he had more respect in the apologetics community in general. Generally, he's lost a lot of that respect for bad faith debating on all sides.
There's this guy on YouTube.
Not that I just want to slander the dude, but it's pretty open.
Well, okay, so there's this guy on YouTube. I can't remember his name. I know what he looks like. He has a beard, like they all do. And he made a comment about how somebody asked him if, like, KG or Chesterton is in heaven, or if Chesterton or C.S. Lewis are in hell or heaven. And this guy made this comment that he said, if Chesterton and Lewis are in hell, then I'm in deep trouble. And I guess for whatever reason, James White, knowing that Chesterton was Catholic.
Yeah.
Kind of, they had this. I didn't watch any of it. I just watched.
Is it Jimmy Aiken?
Not Jimmy Aiken.
Okay.
It was another guy. I have to find him.
Okay.
I know what he looks like, but I can't remember.
You want to know who else is Catholic? James White's sister.
That's funny.
Oh, Thanksgiving must be amazing at his house.
It's so bad.
Holy crap!
I always have to just throw out that C.S. Lewis is honorary Catholic.
Yeah.
Well, he was Anglican.
Yeah, but he only was
But
Anglican
why?
because
British
he
pride.
did.
Yeah.
Yes.
He
could not
did
turn
believe in
against his-
purgatory, and there's
Yeah, it's in the Screw Tape letter.
yeah, he's
Or
very
is that
clear. The Great Divorce. He very clearly believes in purgatory, and there's the Great Divorce.
In the Great Divorce?
The whole book is basically kind of like that, and then he also states one time that like it makes sense that we would be purged before we go into heaven, because even if we could enter and God said welcome, I would say first I would like to be cleaned up, sir, before I entered. So there's quotes of him that he believes in purgatory. He had a high view of communion.
I've read Mere Christianity, Screw Tape Letters, and The Problem of Pain.
Yeah,
It was all the essays and letters and things that he wrote after his wife died.
his wife died. Yeah,
Those are the only three I read. I've heard about the Great Divorce, but I've never read it.
it's really good.
I feel
actually.
like people
It's really
would stop quoting C.S. Lewis if they realized.
We got to be careful that though. That does what you just said does get a little overstated.
No,
he
I know,
was
but-
really close, but
I love
it
how
also
this is
was
turning
like,
in from a movie review to
just general. Well,
theological
we've
stuff.
been going for over an hour.
Why not?
What
Time is it? That's the better part.
It's 10:40.
No, we got to go to 1.
Okay,
Let's
all right.
do it.
We have to
YOLO.
go for 6 hours to beat Pints with Aquinas' longest podcast
I have
episode
a
record.
date
What?
at 8.
Wait, hold on.
Tell
us more.
I have a date? Oh, my face is so red. All of a sudden,
I'm not moving this camera off
You
of
better. So I would like to go to bed at some point.
it. You don't sleep.
That's true too.
My brother's in
We're going for a
Romania.
hike.
My brother's in Romania, and so he's in the army. He's in Romania. He's doing stuff over there, and he gives my family group chat a random text in the middle of the night, and it's like, okay, so just so you guys know, by the way, I might have a Romanian girlfriend. I'm like, oh no. I even told him before he went over there, stay away from the gypsies. Stay away from the gypsy women.
Yeah, man.
I
You
think
know
it's a
what?
date. If she's watching, she's like, it's not a date. We're just hanging out. But I'm pretty sure it's a date.
Right.
Oh, the thing tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a date.
Yeah.
It's a date.
I can confirm.
Yeah.
I
Is
have
she local
sources.
or is she?
She's here.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
she's-
no. So local. She's in college and.
Oh man, this is
not
recorded for eternity. This
Yeah,
is
this is
great.
evidence.
Let's just not
So
talk.
this
about
is the best
anymore.
time to say you're not dating in high school.
She's in college.
College, okay,
She's in
good.
college.
Just clarifying.
She's going back to college.
Yeah,
Aren't you so happy that we're both married?
it makes
Not
it so
you and
much-
I married,
Dating.
but like we're
Dating is awful.
we're already.
But yeah. No.
So, David Sapina says, "Bring her a dozen roses." She's not in this chat, David. There's a couple questions. They're all from David. Everyone else,
It's
if you have questions about the movie or about anything, let us know
Do it.
because then we can just kind of chat about other stuff. David's first, I guess, is more of a statement. He says, "Daniel, can we introduce you to a slightly used religious institution that's only a couple millennia old?" On the nose, buddy.
I feel attacked.
Then he says, "This is not a question so much as a statement. The best version of the Bible is word on the street. Prove me wrong."
What's that?
I don't know. What engenders more sadness, this excellent film or the mention of the name John MacArthur? The name John MacArthur. Okay, here's the real question. I saved it till last. Do you all think this movie could start a turn of the tide against boutique sexuality?
No.
Which we know what that means. Steven says no. Why?
Boutique sexuality.
LGTV.
Okay, good.
No.
Don't you love that acronym?
I've never heard of it that way before. So
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I stole it. That's
Go ahead,
not mine.
Steven.
I guess it like. Do you mean like a 180 or like are we talking like a slight shift? Because I see a
Turn of the tide, meaning this is the beginning of what could be.
I think the turn of the tide already happened,
I agree with that.
I think this is going to. But hear me out. It is a slow turn.
maybe.
Maybe there's too much power.
I think
Somewhere.
we will very quickly get rid of the choose your own adventure gender book things.
No, yeah.
Getting
That's-
all the way back is going to
Choose
take.
your own adventure.
Venture.
You know what I mean?
This is the first time I'm hearing this crap.
Choose your own gender.
I'm making
Choose
up
your own adventure.
allusions to so as to not have the
Choose your own adventure books that you go to sleep with, and
Which
halfway
form of
through.
mutilation would you choose?
What's weird
Sorry.
is when you
We're
get
on
to the end of
deep
the
guys.
book. Once you go to the end of the book, usually you can go back and go, "Oh, I messed up. Let me go back." But this time you
This
can't.
time you can't.
This time you can't. So I'm so sorry, but
Good thing I have this whole bottle here.
All right. Once again, go to drewthecatholic.locals.com
Locals.
so that when I inevitably get taken off the air entirely,
Are you still alive, by the way?
we are still
Oh,
live.
thank God. They must be all asleep.
We lost some streamers actually, or some
no.
viewers. Yeah.
Oh,
Or
no.
well, so YouTube viewer is actually weird because in one spot it says we have 9, and the other spot it says we have 13. Let's go with 13.
okay. 13.
We didn't lose anybody.
I keep playing
13
footsie.
people that are going to give us money.
So I think it's a shift. I think it's a shift in the right direction, but I don't think this What is a Woman was obviously the big shift, and What is a Woman
really did.
But it wasn't even the start. It took how long for it to? It was once it hit Twitter.
What is a Woman on Twitter was the turn of the
that
tide.
was the turn of the tide.
I think that's the next step.
AP said it was Dylan Mulvaney, and Gina said this on the heels of Bud Light is encouraging that the majority starting to wake up.
Yes, but it was Twitter.
So I was going to say,
dude, Elon Musk buying Twitter was like coming out in the fourth quarter with like a kickoff recovered for a touchdown. Like,
my problem with
amazing.
that statement is that the CEO he hired
was bad.
No. It's a test, guys. He's playing the long game. I mean, I don't know. It's probably all a dumpster
I am
fire.
skeptical of this particular person that he hired to be the CEO of Twitter that was an executive at NBC and has close ties to the World Economic Forum. So
I mean, Elon Musk also has close ties to the World Economic Forum.
I agree with him.
He was a World Economic Forum leader guy.
That
was in the incubator.
That probably woke up to all the crap that was happening and said, we're going to buy Twitter. So that was going to be part of the next step, was to get this movie either on Twitter or free to see on Angel Studios app. Yeah.
Even if Elon ended up being a bad guy, it doesn't matter because we've gotten so much traction because of this the past couple of years.
That's my point of why I think this is
go broke.
Like this is like the turn of the tide already happened, but it's going to be a slow trickle because the people that we think are on our side are not actually going to end up being on our side, and it's going to hurt really bad in the end. And I'm sorry, I'm not optimistic in this. I think things are going to actually get worse. Still,
I would say.
I think we're little victories.
So, go back to what I said earlier. First they ignore you, then they fight you. No, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win.
I don't think we've gotten to the fight part yet.
That's
my point, is we have not hit critical mass.
I would argue that it would still come down to that trend. But yeah, with Twitter, I think that's the next step. But I would also say that trust in the government is at all-time lows.
It's pretty bad.
It's low, and it's low on both sides.
It is, yeah.
And how Fox handled Ducker.
Dude, when Tucker Carlson got fired, Fox was like, and we are liberal now. Hello, everybody.
No. They were liberal.
No, we all know that, but he was like the linchpin. And like, whatever you think about Tucker, whatever. But he leaves, and Fox is like, anyways, we misgendered somebody. Sorry. Well, that was actually CNN.
No,
that
they
really
had their.
today,
they had their. I'm going to say this. They had their protocol for their employees and glory hole stuff and all that. Did you guys hear about that?
No.
Fox.
Wow.
Yeah, it's bad.
This should have been a local.
Well, I know the Megyn Kelly situation.
You need to look this up on Fox. Like, it was a story on Fox.
Okay.
Not on Fox, but like on them.
The last episode of Tucker Carlson tonight was the pizza guy. What did he do? He had the same pizza guy. Oh, I'm drawing a blank. It was a pizza guy that did something that either went viral or he stopped something horrible from happening. And Tucker was like, I'm bringing this guy on, and he's going to bring us some like good pizza. Pizza sounds amazing right now.
I know.
Pizza does sound amazing.
You want to do Domino's?
It's probably closed. Most things close at 10:30. Remember, I ordered a pizza from Pizza Hut, and
like, we're closing.
Yeah, it took them an hour.
They are open.
Let's do it,
dude. They close at 1.
Hey, I'm all for it because guess
what? It's a sign.
He owes me a pizza.
Oh, because I ordered pizza at your house.
Order pizza right now.
Never paid me back.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, I'll do it. All right.
I'll pay for your.
What do we want?
I paid you.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bought my
soda
and candy. I am going to go. I'm going to stay on the wide angle so I don't show my address.
You should show your address.
I almost started saying it out loud. You know how you speak when you type, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to move my mouth right now." Okay, what do we want, guys? Pepperoni,
pepperoni, and jalapeno.
We got to look at the coupons.
Tell them not to ring the doorbell or knock.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Jalapeno and pepperoni.
Coupons.
If you get pineapple, I'm gonna
Let's find a coupon.
you.
All right, we got.
Here's
you guys talk about
him. Oh no. Okay, so when you go on your date tomorrow, the question you should ask.
We're not talking about the date.
is if she likes olives.
Oh, because if she doesn't,
Olive theory.
Do you like olives?
I love olives.
Okay.
So she must not like olives for olive theory to work. Also,
For
do you,
it to work.
do you like pineapple on pizza?
Yes.
Okay, then she must not like
Then you
pineapple
are
on-
wrong,
You
good
are
sir.
Well, I slightly judge you, and I think you should be excommunicated.
Based.
Have you
I'm
had?
I'm not
Could
even
you
Catholic.
imagine, dude?
I'm
just,
not even Catholic.
Can we
I'm
just,
telling you.
Let's just picture a world in which Pope Francis gets up tomorrow and goes, "We solemnly declare and define as a matter of dogma that pineapple does not belong on pizza."
I would just become
I would
Catholic just to
support
piss
it.
my wife off.
Orthodoxy.
Does your wife?
Orthodoxy.
Does she like pineapple on pizza?
She likes pineapple on pizza.
You become orthodox over a dogmatic declaration over pineapple on pizza? You wouldn't admit
close
that you were
enough.
wrong?
We're just and then the Protestants are going to be like, "Well, sola scriptura says."
David Sapina says, "You can also order me a pizza." I mean, I guess theoretically David has paid for this pizza, technically.
Thank you, David.
He also has not heard of the Hawaiian pigeon translation.
Can we
Do
give David?
We're going to
something
get there later.
So for David being the first ever guy to ever give us money on this, can we do something special for him?
He might. Well, I don't know. We're going to figure out when it's going to happen, but at some point we're going to do a road trip to Steubenville, and David's going to fly from Canada to Montrose
here,
and then
and
go
then
on a
we're
road trip with us to Steubenville.
Where's Steubenville?
Stina, are you watching? He called it Steubenville. That's what my father-in-law calls it. It's in Ohio.
Oh,
Steubenville.
I said Steuben, right?
Steubenville.
Steuben, okay.
Stupidville
Did I
is what
say
my father-in-law calls it. He goes, "Oh, it's Stupidville." David says, "Daniel, if you become Catholic, you will have enough political favor to excommunicate Stephen for his heretical pizza views."
Hey!
All right, that's
Put that funny
hilarious.
hat on me right now.
Okay, so
We're doing
how
this.
many? Do we need just one pizza?
Yeah.
Is one's
one's
good?
fine.
Okay, so like one medium,
Large.
3-topping pizza is probably fine. Large, okay. One large 3-topping pizza.
So yeah.
Pepperoni, jalapenos, and sausage.
That sounds amazing. What do you what is objectionable about that pizza?
If you say pineapple, I'm gonna kick
Why
you.
jalapenos?
Have you ever had jalapenos on pizza?
Yeah.
It's really good.
Okay, just get it.
I'm getting
I'll
thin
eat
crust,
whatever.
dude. We're doing thin crust.
Okay.
Or do you guys want the extra calories from the bread?
I would rather the extra calories.
Okay.
I need
all
it
right.
for a hike tomorrow.
And a date.
Hiking a date.
That
where are
she
you guys
must not
hiking?
like
wait,
all
wait,
it-
wait.
no.
where are you-
I don't know. She picked somewhere. I think it's in Junction.
Okay, cool. Because we're also going hiking,
Yeah.
and we should not go on the same hike. That would be weird.
Yeah.
That'd be really
Double
weird.
date.
All right, so pepperoni.
And then we're hanging out with you
Italian
afterwards.
sausage. You're hanging out with me afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, because dinner.
Yeah.
You guys are going to dinner with at John's.
Yes.
Shout out to Johnny W. Not gonna say your last name and dox you on the stream. Not that you would. You probably wouldn't care. I'm trying to get him and his wife on the podcast.
No, that'd be cool.
Talking about
Having kids.
having lots of children. Yeah,
And lots of children.
like having many children. A Catholic number. It's
so
great.
So to go back to this turning of the tide with this movie,
Meanwhile, at the movie.
the movie that we are talking about, my opinion obviously is the world's gonna get worse. What is your opinion on? Because I guess I was the only one that really talked about it. What's your opinions on like the tide with this movie?
Well,
Shifting.
Oh, Gina also wants some of this pizza. So should we? Should
why
we?
is she up?
Do you think? Do you think we should just get two?
Sure.
I'm just gonna get.
YOLO.
There's like for like barely more than the large. There's a coupon for 2 mediums, which is like a lot more than 1 large, right? All right, Daniel. Opinions on the turning of the tide while I find a coupon.
So
He said is with this movie. Do you see this as a shift in the tides?
I think people are waking up to the for lack of a better term, Eisenhower coined the military-industrial complex. I would argue to some extent, we're basically seeing the same thing, that industrial complex in the media, in movies and entertainment and things that are being presented to us and our children.
Okay, real quick interruption. So I can do pepperoni and jalapeno for 1, and then I'll do sausage and what on the? I only got 2 toppings for this coupon. A little bit of limitation.
Ham.
Sausage and ham.
They're both pork, dude.
We could do sausage and beef, sausage and bacon,
sausage
Mushroom?
and green onions,
green
or
peppers, green
or
onions.
you could do a white sauce pizza with chicken and spinach.
No.
No. Mushrooms?
Nah,
sausage?
I don't do mushrooms. I'm not a hippie.
I don't want psychedelics.
Don't let the
on
long
pizza.
hair confuse you.
I'm not a
bro.
hippie, but I go on hikes barefoot and I smoke a pipe and blah, 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 blah.
Hey, hippies smoke marijuana, sir. I smoke tobacco like an American.
So different.
Oh my God.
You know what? Should we do this right now? Should I get my tobacco collection out on the table? No.
No.
not right
Show the
now. Italian
internet
sausage
what kind of a
and
tobacco
green
problem
peppers.
you have.
Green peppers. Okay.
Just do it.
Okay. All right.
I'm not a hippie,
This-
but I walk barefoot on hikes, and I'm gonna make my feet so strong that, and my hair so long with my beard.
Hey,
Cody from the barber shop is like, dude, Drew looks like Jesus.
goals. He's jealous. He can't grow hair like this. There's a reason
hear
he
that,
shaves
Cody?
his head. Yeah, Cody. If Cody gets to this, then I'm impressed.
Oh,
He's not
I'll
listening.
share it with him. Saying,
Just
hey,
to get the
you were-
timestamp. Yeah.
You were
We
mentioned.
mentioned. I am thinking about cutting it. It's like right now is one of the times I'm thinking about cutting it because it's very hot
It's
in this room right
very
now.
warm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then with the hair,
It's hot in general.
What was the question again?
it was what the turning of the
turn of the
tide
tide.
thing. Sorry, the pizza thing.
It's tough because as a Protestant, you believe in Reformation or not Reformation.
You with that too.
Wherever you believe in the rapture, and so the general, I would say, like in my mind, like it's gonna get worse before it gets to that point where it's so bad
Yeah.
that you get raptured, and the whole that theology. Don't want to start that with you.
Sorry,
Not gonna start.
don't
that
bite. Don't
fight
bite.
with you.
Don't bite.
I'm gonna start that fight with you.
Just read the Bible.
That's what I get for hanging out with you Catholics.
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 That's one thing
Good
I
memes.
never believed in. Just
The rapture? Yeah, me either. Yeah.
So
Well, for a little
so other than that, like, with the trust in government and institutionalized,
You don't necessarily
media,
need to show my credit card on the internet either.
No, show the back number. Back number and it.
1, 2,
1,
3,
2,
4,
3,
5,
4,
6, 7, 8, 9.
No, I think it comes in waves where, if you read through the Old Testament, things are really great for the kingdom of Israel, and then it gets really bad, and then they have a great king, and everything's great, and then it's really bad, and then they have the great king, and everything's bad again. So, not to freak everyone out, Ray Dalio's principles of navigating the changing world order. He more or less takes an economic take on the rise and falls of empires. He talks about Rome. He talks about the Greek. He talks about Rome. He talks about the English, the Dutch. And I love America. I don't want our country to go to hell in a handbasket, even though it's kind of already there. But
Yeah, it's there.
but it's not gonna, the dollar's not going to be the global reserve currency forever. It's not. We've gone so past shooting ourselves in the foot that I personally don't think it's going to last long because there's so many factors.
The reserve currency or the country?
The reserve currency.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
part. That's the global reserve currency status of the U.S. dollar and all the other major reserve currencies in the past. That is a symptom of a falling empire.
Right.
Well, me and Drew have talked about this. It's like I don't see us going back. Like
There is no going back. There's
So-
only going forward.
But like what that
and
looks
forward
like.
could be good, but it might not be good. And that's what we have a choice in. Sorry.
Oh,
you
we
say-
have a
You
choice.
say what you were going to say.
Oh
'cause
no,
have
I was
some
just
stuff to
agreeing.
say.
No, go. I was just saying like the shifting of the tide, but there is no going back.
Pizza's ordered, by the way.
Thank you.
We're too far gone. There is no going back. And to be honest, and this is my pessimism America, like just to be in America,
Ooh, we're going deep.
going backwards.
You might want some more whiskey, Daniel.
What caused this problem in the first place is America. And so like to go back, like if we go back,
can
all
bite on
we're
this.
gonna do is inevitably end up where we are.
This is
now
the
again.
Enlightenment liberalism let us here take, right?
Yeah,
Is that what you're
so-
going for? Yeah.
so,
I agree with that. I agree with that.
that's where I'm like, in order for there to be a change, we have.
How
to,
deep do you want to go down the rabbit hole, Alice? You're Alice, by the
You're
way.
Alice.
I'm the Mad Hatter, bro.
He's got a take on this, and I agree with.
I
it.
guess I'm just a talking teacup or something.
No, you're Alice.
No, you're Alice.
Oh, I'm
You're
Alice.
outside the
You're
rabbit
Alice.
hole. I'm trying to say how deep you want to go, bro.
He's the Mad Hatter, and
I'm the Mad
rabbit
Hat.
that
I got the
brought you
take.
here.
Do you want the take?
How much whiskey do you have?
Just whoa, that was full earlier.
I didn't have any. I had a.
Modelo sounds good.
I was actually.
You gonna get another one? Hey, will you get another one and then also bring down the limes and a cutting board and a knife? I want a lime in mine.
This is getting weird. But yeah.
If you make it to the deep end, let
Let's
us
go.
know. Because we're going to go for a while. We're getting pizza.
Anyway, so, like, I don't know. What should we talk about next?
Well, we were talking about how America is the problem.
Where's the cutting board?
There's to the left of the sink, there's a whole host of cutting boards. See if you can find the small plastic one or the small wood one. And a small paring knife.
So one of the things you talked about is when it comes to the sex slave trade and when it comes to the consumption of that kind of stuff, you said that we export it.
Yes.
That's not the only thing that gets exported.
Oh, no. Not even close.
And in my job and my understanding of how the global economy works, in a weird way, without going into crazy details and giving you all an economics lesson, we are basically able to export inflation to all these other nations that we more or less force to use our dollars.
And that's the reserve. That's because we're the reserve currency, is it not?
Well, yeah. So
that's why I think ultimately us having the reserve currency is unjust, but someone's going to do it.
So if you take,
not saying that it should be us then.
So
but.
between like 2010, 2020, if you compare U.S. stocks with international stocks, our stocks blow them out of the water.
Right.
Now, the reason why that is that you have a company like Boeing, and they have an international competitor, let's say Airbus. I think they're based in France. So France will peg their currency, or I think they're on the euro, right?
Yeah, I would imagine.
So the European Central Bank will.
You couldn't just grab one lime out of the bag? Keep talking.
Okay, so
Did
you get a bottle opener?
Can I get some water?
Are they twist ups?
I know you just went upstairs. Can I get some water? For favor.
Steven is
Yes,
the
sire.
servant.
Thank you.
Hey, wait. Let me give you this bag too. I only need one lime, dude.
I don't know. What
This is turning into a wild night.
Do you guys know how to put a lime in a Modelo? You're about to find out.
Bartending with Drew Lowen.
Keep talking.
Like a true Catholic. No, so basically, long story short, like this European Central Bank pegs their euro to our dollars. Our dollars back in the day prior to August 15, 1971 was pegged to gold. So we were post World War II, Bretton Woods Agreement, we were all in the gold standard. Nixon takes us off the gold standard. We become the most utilized currency in the global economy. Yep. This episode of Drew the Catholic live stream was sponsored by Modelo. Not really. I'm joking. Please don't sue us, Modelo. What are you doing?
Putting a lime in the Modelo.
Thank you very much.
Back at a weird time.
Dude, that's vodka. No, I'm kidding.
I don't keep vodka.
So
in this
basically, so let's say you have Airbus, and during COVID they're in distress. They need more money. Well, they get money from the European Central Bank, but in order for the European Central Bank to give Airbus more money, they have to get more dollars from the Federal Reserve, which is the central bank of the U.S. So realizing that not only is the Federal Reserve
Dude, why are you drinking water?
I'm hydrating.
I probably need
Go give me a Modelo, please.
Do you see what I'm doing right now?
What do you do? You just use your fingernail. You don't have to be that.
I don't have nails.
You don't need nails.
Well, I couldn't
Use
get
your
it.
teeth. No. So like,
Golly.
okay. So basically, long story short, the Federal Reserve.
Gina and Daniel would like you to get him a Modelo, apparently, because Steven is preoccupied not having nails.
I will get it.
Please.
Thank you.
No, so basically, like the Fed is not only supporting Boeing, but they're also supporting their international competitor.
Yep.
And so what the Fed will say is, hey, like we'll give the ECB, the Central Bank of Europe, more money, which then will in turn give Airbus more money, but they have to agree to certain terms and condition that gives Boeing a competitive advantage. So that's why our
Right.
stocks generally perform better than.
Yeah, I mean, we've just played the field that way and been top dog. Do you want a lime or nah?
Sure.
Yeah, you gotta have a lime. Here, I gotta cut you another half here.
We're getting pizza anyway.
I'm back, guys. What have we been talking about?
Complex economic concepts about how the U.S. dollar is the global reserve currency.
Hey, guys, we saw The Sound of Freedom tonight. Did you know that?
Yeah. So.
There
Well,
we go.
so what I want to, I
Wait,
kind of want to
don't
bring
have
it back.
Do I have a line? Yeah,
I got you a line, bro.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
So
Mazel tov.
earlier, and I think this was, I can't remember if this was during or before the stream, I mentioned what I said about we distance ourselves from the particular problem in Sound of Freedom, but also all of the problems of the world, particularly the fact that there's 150, or what is it, how many millions of slaves? Did I say?
100 are 2 million?
2 million. It was
Every-
150 billion.
$150 billion
And
industry,
it's-
2 million.
Child porn or
No, slaves in general.
Oh.
It gave a number.
it was like,
It didn't give a number. There are more slaves now in the
Now
world
in the world,
than
yeah.
there were
When
it
slavery
was legal.
was legal.
I think he said, and then child like images on the internet.
Yeah.
Every year go up like
5,000%.
5,000%.
Yeah, so we didn't probably say that when we were actually live because we accidentally weren't live. That's
Yeah.
my
Ridiculous.
fault.
It's surpassing the drug trade.
This is the take. We love in the West to pretend that we're so woke, we're so progressive.
We need to find issues to fix instead of fixing the actual problems.
Well, I wasn't
that
even
are
going to go there.
happening.
You are 100% correct. But what I mean is this idea of like progress that we get from the liberal enlightenment. We don't need religious vindication or forgiveness or any sort of supernatural grace infused in us. We can solve our own problems with some industrialization and some medicine and some good old classic thinking. That's the inheritance of the Enlightenment. And we have this illusion of progress. If you live here, you're like, yeah, look, like we got, like toilets and, no slaves. And we have cool like money systems where we make lots of money and have nice things, running water and AC. Progress. But we've only exported all of the issues of the prior world that were in your face to other countries. And then we've forced them into the deal with things like, this is kind of a very general hot take. We forced them into the deal with things like the dollar reserve. We've bullied them into it in a lot of ways. You know what I mean?
We won the war. We won World War II, and we had 2/3 of the world's gold reserves.
Right.
So we were able to
And all the army.
And well, we were the one industrial superpower that wasn't absolutely demolished.
Yeah.
After Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and after the
Christendom
majority.
spent 1,000 years building up Europe, and we destroyed it with 2 world wars.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you were to tell me or ask me for closing thoughts, I would say this. And this is just kind of what
Are
you.
we
but we're
closing?
not-
We're not
no.
closing.
Well, I know we're not
We got
closing.
pizza.
Okay, I'll wait until pizza shows up.
Okay.
No,
But continue your point.
well, so my point is that the problem is that here's all these problems, but nobody's really putting forth
Right.
any solutions or potential solutions. The way that I view my life and just with my profession and the things that I'm very passionate about, it goes back to 1 Timothy, I think chapter 6. Paul says, the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. And Robert Kiyosaki's kind of like a famous investor and author, and he says, well, it's the things that people are willing to do for money. Which I'm like, well, really, there's no difference between what Paul said and what you're saying. Because if I'm willing to kidnap somebody or a child and sell them into a slave trade, or the baby hospital thing that I mentioned earlier, it's
disgusting.
It's disgusting, demonic,
Shameful.
BS that needs to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the thing that gets me is, it's, for lack of a better term, taking on your stigmata, where it's the thing that hurts, that breaks Christ's heart, that breaks your heart, and then not that you are going into the dark, evil places for the sole purpose of participating, but you're going in there so that way you could bring light. And
Yeah.
that's what's inspiring about this movie.
Oh, 100%. I think there's something okay, this is going to be a complex thought. There's two. I want to view this. This is a good direction to take it. Maybe I want to view this movie through the lens of the problem that the West has created by just abandoning its principles and its religion. We created the modern world. We are the reason civilization exists. Period. Sorry. Hot take. Throw me in the dumpster for it. But who else got us here? It's the West. And what got us there? Judeo-Christian principles, Catholic principles, right? Like that's what got us here ultimately. And we've been throwing them out. The other thing we threw out in the past 60 years is men. Full stop, period. Men. We killed them all in 2 wars, and then we told them they were toxic, and they had to put avocado spread on their face for the last 40 years.
And that it's actually better for men to be women.
That's the last 5 years, yeah. But what I really mean by this is we have dealt with fatherless generation after fatherless generation, and if your dad wasn't killed in a war, then he was not there, and if he was actually there, he was absent because he was a workaholic or an alcoholic or some
PTSD
sort of something
from taking over the eagle's nest in freaking Germany.
Right. And then
Bastogne
your
and
father
all that.
inherited that from his father, etc. et al. We have a crisis of masculinity because you know what men do? Real men, they die for things that are worth protecting. And that's what this movie is literally about, is a real man saying, that could as well be my daughter. I'm going to go into the jungle and carry her out on my back.
And kill somebody in the process.
And kill somebody in the process. But like this is really true is we have this whole like problem, and it's created through viewing love as tolerance, which men don't tolerate things well. Jordan Peterson would talk about this. We're naturally assertive. We don't tolerate things. We say that's stupid. Like that's like, oh man, they say that's stupid. That's a good thing when you have a lot of stupid things going on. And that's kind of how I'm seeing this movie. And through the lens of my trip, what I realized is men speak truth and bring action to injustice when they are activated with their identity and their calling. We haven't had that in the West for a long time. And what we're seeing symptomatically is a failing nation that has no truth, has no direction, no cohesive story, and we're exporting all of our sins at the expense of the rest of the world. That's because there are no real, moral, just men who are willing to die for the sake of the people that they care about.
Because we're able to export a lot of the evil things that so we're like going back to the whole exporting idea. We're able to
I want to talk about that.
We're exporting, you know, instead of us having to be in-house and producing the evil things that, for lack of a better term, they get off on. We're having to export that. We're having to export that to other nations.
Yeah.
And it's not just the whole child sex slavery stuff. It's, I would argue, everything else that we consume. We consume so we are a net importer nation. We don't export enough for us to be so the things that we export is nowhere near what we import from other nations. So in a weird way, and again, there's a whole economic lesson involved with this, but we are basically soaking up the wealth of other nations and the resources of other nations at their expense.
Don't we?
Yes.
We export people. We export military.
Yeah.
They export all of our goods and things. So what I wanted to touch on this actually is one of the ways in the movie, especially, is one of the ways that they transport kids is over freight. And we've talked about this a long time ago, but it's cheaper to
ship something from China
overseas
to America, from Utah to Colorado.
Colorado to Utah. What the hell?
Because shipping has been subsidized by the postal services of every country.
And one of the ways that they're shipping kids over.
Didn't you say that President Trump?
You can say Trump.
Okay.
He's not gonna. We're not gonna.
I was just making sure.
We've said
we're
worse
gonna
things
get
to
demonetized anyway.
But
you said that President Trump was trying to get rid of that.
There was a lot of trade deals he was trying to get rid of, and he didn't get to. Yeah.
But
love him or hate him, some of those things were cool.
It was interesting that one of the ways they showed kids being transported was over shipping it overseas.
David Sapina says, "My father was loving and present, but I also had like virtually no male role models in my life. All the role models in my life were women, And then as a joke, he says, but I'm sure what will bring back healthy masculinity is repopularizing beards. # make priestly beards Catholic again. How many people have hummed and hawed between Catholicism and Orthodoxy only to go to Orthodoxy because of the awesome beards? I would bet anything that number is higher than 0. David's one of my favorite people. Definitely my favorite commenter.
Wow. Not sure where to recover from that.
So
Anyways.
shipping of children.
Orthodox beards. So back to shipping of children.
Well, it's just okay. So to go back to touching on what you said.
There's so many things that you realize that are like bad euphemisms. In this stream
especially
particularly.
for this one.
Yeah.
So to go back to this, so we ship everything out. The reason the reason America, we ship everything out, so we have no purpose. We don't build our own stuff.
Yep.
We built. Sorry, now I'm hearing myself way louder.
Yeah, that's because you're not talking into the mic, so I'm turning you up.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
That's my fault. Now I'm gonna really talk into the mic.
There you go.
So we have, and I kind of wanted to touch on this a little bit, but Apple. Yep. So Apple products that are built by slaves, mainly child labor, whatever you want to call it,
or at least unethical labor.
Okay, so what's the difference between that and slavery?
Yeah, not much.
Okay, so we have these things. I did this the other day. I put on YouTube. So I watch YouTube on my phone constantly. So I put YouTube on my TV thinking, oh, I'll go back to watching TV, but YouTube, I'll just watch the things. Do you know what ended up happening? I ended up watching YouTube on my phone while I was watching YouTube on TV.
Gen Z entertainment there, bud.
Because I can't get rid of my phone. I cannot get rid of my phone. I know. I actually thought about that today. I need a flip phone.
There will be a time when Christians have to make technological decisions for the faith.
Yeah.
The Hasidic Jews in New York, they all use the flip phone.
Bro,
it's
all
the way.
Kosher. It's amazing.
It's kosher.
But to go back to
our iPhone's
so
not
what
kosher?
we've done is
I'm gonna look it up. Keep going.
So what we've done is we've taken purpose out of people's lives by exporting everything away. And then we give them the thing that is made by the thing that we exported to distract them so they have no purpose. So then, to make it a full circle, the reason that we're so focused on...
That's the Domino's guy. Keep going. Hello?
I was getting into that music.
Yeah. So the reason we've gone full circle of now we have to find a purpose. And so we latch onto these things that...
Well, isn't that like Jordan Peterson's thesis of, 12 principles of life or something, where it's like you're living for something that's bigger than yourself, that you have this calling for?
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, we have our basic needs met here in America.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to worry about shelter. We don't have to worry about water or warmth or food because it's readily available to us everywhere.
Yeah.
And so then it becomes, well, I now need to, now that I got those basic needs met, now I need to go and get this other thing. And then it just spirals out of control. And so now we're spending hours on our phones. And,
yeah. We need distraction now instead of
I deleted
purpose.
my Facebook.
Yeah, I don't have Facebook.
The only social media, not including YouTube, but the only social media I have is Twitter, but I only access Twitter at my office because I use it primarily as a source of information for news and data and things that there's a lot of good people that I follow and I get good information for things for my job, but other than that, I try not to follow anyone political unless I have a very good reason as to follow them.
Yeah.
So that, because COVID was horrible for me in Twitter.
Yeah.
I was watching things on Twitter. I was like,
I think COVID ruined a lot of people.
Yeah. No, but I just upped and deleted my Facebook because I was like, I don't want this anymore.
Yeah. No, and
all the crap from TikTok is starting to funnel its way
it's funny. It funneled its way into Instagram. But it's so we're creating these distractions, and then now we need purpose, and so we latch onto these things. But the reason I was talking about it is it's certain people want us to be distracted. So this movie comes out, and all they can say is how bad the
I
movie
see
is.
nothing.
Exactly.
I knows nothing.
And because all we do is we just watch the next feed, and they're like, "Oh, this is actually, a QAnon, and this is all this does is fetishize sex trafficking. So don't go watch it; it's bad." And we're so inundated with it. It's like we're so instead of focusing on real problems, we go try to find purpose in other things, and we're so. Not to be prosperity gospel, but we're so focused on better ourselves that we actually miss all the bad things that are
It's
going
all
on.
about there was a vineyard pastor I knew years ago. He called it mimetes. Me. It's all about me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Thank you.
thank you very much, Drew. Appreciate it.
It's I must secure my face mask before I save anybody else.
Yeah. No, it's
Hey, you do what the stewardess tells you.
You do it this.
Bro, this sausage and banana peppers one actually looks pretty lit, not gonna lie. Sausage and banana peppers.
put that behind you on the thing, I guess. I want that jalapeno.
You want 1, 2
Give me 2, please.
of the... Alright. Oh, you lost a jalapeno. Do you want it back?
No,
You
sorry.
want one of these?
No, I'm good. I'll start with these 2. My
You can put it
go-to.
back on here,
Anyway, salud. Thank you.
yeah. Yep.
Mazel tov.
So yeah, so did you guys did you go down the rabbit hole of the whole French Revolution thing and Enlightenment and how America is just
A little bit.
a
Barely.
disaster
Barely.
because of it?
Barely. I did look up if iPhones were kosher, and one rabbi says that workers' rights are paramount. So, maybe not. But most Jewish people have iPhones. So.
From what I've researched, a lot of Hasidic Jews I can't remember the district in New York, but they use a lot of flip phones.
Yeah.
They have specific or they have special internet cafes where they have special filters to keep things kosher.
Mm-hmm.
So they're hardcore. That's the one
That's the
thing.
way to go, bro.
Did you give your wife pizza?
Yeah, that's why it took me so long to get you
Okay.
guys pizza. Because I was like, she's in bed. She's probably in
She
PJs
needs-
and doesn't want to come down
Yeah,
here.
she takes top priority.
Yeah. And she's now listening to this 30 seconds later going, thanks, babe.
You're such a good husband.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Um,
She has to put up with my crap enough, so it's the least I could do, right?
oh,
Jamie would say the same thing for me.
That you're such a good husband or that she's to put up with your crap enough.
I got so much crap.
okay. I'm gonna do my conspiracy theory real quick.
Okay.
Because
Demonetize incoming.
since
3,
we're already
2, 1.
since we're already talking about purpose and distractions. So
Sorry for the close up of you eating, bro. I'll just go back to wine. We
okay,
can all suffer
so-
together.
Yeah. So rude.
He's just
So I believe we have a new mark of the beast. And everyone was, yeah.
but not like you're
Well,
not saying it's
no.
the.
No, just like how Nero did the same thing, because Nero is he the beast or is he the Antichrist in the first century? So, and he kind of did something where there was already a mark on Christians and they were killed for it. So I don't believe that we're in this end times type deal, but I believe this is a new form of that, and it's Apple. It's Apple products, and I learned this this is my conspiracy theory afterwards of their new Oculus goggles.
I showed you that. That really
Yeah,
messed
and
you up,
once you showed me that, I went, oh, it is true, because Apple cannot create. It only can take from others and make better.
Ooh.
So
I'm a little behind on.
so you know how Meta Facebook came out with the Meta,
Yeah.
and they came out with the goggles, and now you can be online all the time and do that. Well, it failed because it was cartoonish. Apple now has.
Oh, I just
You lost me.
We're good. We're good.
Okay.
check.
Apple now has come out with its own.
Do you want me to
version
pull up the video?
of
I can
virtual
make it to where we
reality.
can hear it and do a couple things.
Yeah.
And then, keep talking.
Okay, so they made their own version of it where it's actually human. And so what you see is reality around you, but it's not really reality, and like it's your actual face and your actual instead of like a computer image, it's actually you. So like if you went on Zoom with these goggles on, what they would see is a picture of you, not with
That's
the
AI though. It's
but that's
an AI image of you.
yeah, an AI image of you, but not with the goggles on. They would see you. And so now you literally, and okay, it's creepy, but we're gonna see it if we show the video.
Yeah, keep talking. Give me a second. I'll get it.
So
it takes me a
anyways,
second to get this rigged.
so my whole concept is they did not come up with this themselves.
Are you guys hearing that feedback a little
Yeah.
bit? Okay.
Facebook did.
Keep going.
Macintosh did not create the computer. They just made it better.
Right.
They didn't come out with a phone. They made it better. They didn't come out with music like they came out with iPod.
A better way to distribute it.
All they did was make the product better. They never created it themselves. So one of the concepts
as a way of like Satan imitating.
well, yeah,
God's
evil
creation
cannot create.
Right. Well, but it's like there's love, but then there's lust. There's sex, but then there's like weird perversion stuff. Yeah.
So is it J.R. Tolkien that says evil cannot create, it can only distort? Or is that, what is that from?
I don't know where that's from actually. So it's from something though.
Yeah, so the concept of evil is like evil cannot create, but it can distort. Well, Apple literally does not create themselves. They distort. They take from other things.
What was it? Apple stole from Xerox. Microsoft stole from Apple.
Right.
Yeah.
That's basically, yeah.
But yeah,
It's not, it's not borrowing.
Kodakundo.
It's not borrowing. It's called, it's not stealing. It's called borrowingism. My brother that's in the army, he would call it strategically transporting equipment to alternate location.
yes.
Anyway.
So my whole concept, so they're evil. They cannot create themselves. They literally pick an apple, which I don't believe the apple is.
Medievally, that was the
medieval
fruit,
it
but,
was,
but not like rabbinically.
I believe it's a fig. But apple is like the thing that, like the fruit that
Sure.
they take a bite out of.
Yep.
It's literally an apple taking a bite out of. It gives you all access to knowledge at an instant in the palm of your hand.
Knowledge of good and evil.
The tree of good and evil and knowledge, blah blah blah. So, literally, they pick that they cannot create. They can only distort or take and make their way. In order to pay for it, how do you pay for most things nowadays? Credit card. Do you ever buy anything on your phone?
A lot of people do.
Most things I buy on my phone. My brother has an Apple Watch that he literally touched on the screen the other day to pay. So, they say, well, it'll be a mark on your hand. Well, now we have a watch that's on our...
Bro, they must know we're talking about them because I'm trying to pull up the video, and to do that I have to do this thing where I log in, and it's making
not
me do a
working.
verification code.
So now, and everyone's like, well, what about the mark on your head? And I'm like, well, now you have to wear goggles. And the goggles, like if you watch this video, you'll be like...
So the Protestant understanding, at least where I come from, my pastor years ago did a thing about the book of Revelation, and imagine being John in the first century, seeing these visions.
Real quick, can you guys hear this?
Not in my headphones.
Oh.
So John is listening or is seeing these visions that is depicted in the book of Revelation, and so try to explain an Apache attacked helicopter in the first century. And so it's just, I know there's like some, I would argue some like weird discrepancy between like first century understanding of what he's seeing and how he describes it.
How about now?
I can hear it now.
Okay, all right.
I want to
Keep
touch
going.
on that.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So wait, where does it say that there's an Apache helicopter?
So they would interpret like locusts as he like didn't know what an Apache looked like.
So he would look at an Apache. So if John is seeing a vision of the end times and he sees an Apache helicopter that we would know as an Apache
says the
helicopter,
locust.
he calls it a locust or calls it a chariot with fires coming out of its like mouth or something crazy like that.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of where the Protestant understanding comes from. But
It's interesting.
You want to watch the video?
Yeah. to touch on that, the Catholic view is that it's happened, but it's also happening, because that's how all prophecy works.
So like
there's like an immediate fulfillment.
There was
and then there's like an ultimate fulfillment. So they're like the mark of the beast is a reference to what was happening at the time, which was Nero, whose name in I forget which language it is spelled 666.
Hebrew and Greek, or no,
yeah,
Aramaic. It's Aramaic and Hebrew that it spells out.
Oh,
Caesar Nero spells out.
It's probably those two, because those would have the same numerical values. Yeah, and so Nero was requiring sacrifice to the emperor as a god to trade in the markets. So there's an immediate fulfillment, but that doesn't mean that there won't be an ultimate fulfillment. Because like, so for instance, like proof of this is the Emmanuel prophecy.
Can you hand me the pepperoni again?
Yeah.
I'm just a fat kid, just want to eat all the pizza. Bottom one. Oh, yes. Thank you.
So the prophecy in Isaiah that says the child will be born of a virgin, his name will be Emmanuel, is immediately fulfilled like 2 chapters later in Isaiah by a kid whose name is not Jesus. It's Mahershala Hashback. And I'm not kidding. That's really the name. But then ultimately, it's fulfilled in Christ. And so that's how prophecy works. There's like an immediate fulfillment and an ultimate fulfillment. Yeah. And so with all of that, that's kind of how we read the book of Revelation as well, because it'd be prophecy and apocalypse and all that.
Yeah, because
yeah,
it says 5 will come before, and 1 will be short, and then there will be a 7th, and it literally outlines the Roman Empire or Roman emperors.
Right, it outlines the Roman emperors, but then it's like that could ultimately refer to something else. Yeah, so
that's why my theory is Revelation is actually written before 70. It would be
right. So you follow Jimmy Akin on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's literally prophesizing things that haven't happened yet.
Texting me.
And the temple destruction.
Right. All that to say, let's watch this video. So
we've gone down a rabbit hole.
Let me get to where we can see it big. So this is Apple Vision.
Is anybody watching?
Yeah.
Can we get in trouble for showing this?
No, it's fair use.
Oh,
okay. Introducing Apple Vision Pro. The era of spatial computing is here. When you put on Apple Vision Pro, you see your world and everything in it. Your favorite apps live right in front of you, but now they're in your space. This is Vision OS, Apple's first ever spatial operating system. It's familiar, yet groundbreaking. You navigate with your eyes. Simply tap to select, flick to scroll, and use your voice to dictate. It's like magic. Apps have dimension, react to light, and cast shadows. Even though these spatial experiences are happening inside Vision Pro, it looks, sounds, and feels like they are physically there. Foundational to Apple Vision Pro is that you're not isolated from other people. When someone else is in the room, you can see them, and they can see you. Because you're not limited by a display, apps live in your space.
You can talk during it if you want, guys.
Your photos can be life-size, or any size. So your living room becomes...
What's that?
I just want to bask in this because it's so glorious.
So I get where you're coming from, where it's like it's not real life, someone sitting in front of you talking, but it's like an imitation.
No, just so it doesn't tell you this, but so it showed her talking to her friend, right?
Yep.
So when it says you can see them and they can see you, you couldn't really see it in the video, but in the glasses, you can see your eyes. Right? So, like, if we're looking at each other...
It shows a fake image of your eyes on the glasses.
It takes an imprint of your eyes and then puts it on the screen to make it look like you can see through
Didn't that used to be in that video?
Yeah.
and it's not in that
It's
video.
not in that video.
It's not in the
So
video anymore.
It imprints your
That's weird.
eyes
Just saying.
onto the screen, and it looks like, because it's transparent glass or whatever, so it's one-way glass. So the eyes you're actually looking
No,
into...
it's an image.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, you cannot actually see my eyes because it's a one-way glass.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're looking at is a computer-generated version of your eyes. You're not actually looking into the person's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And then later it'll get into it. We don't have to show the whole
We
thing.
won't watch the whole thing. Later, what happens is when you're on Zoom call, because you would look like an idiot if you're like, "Hey, everybody, I'm on the Zoom call," and you had big old glasses.
Unmute yourself.
Right. On the Zoom call, instead of having glasses, it creates an AI image of you that represents what you're actually doing.
Yeah, so it
so it's
follows
real time
inflections.
tracking what you're doing, following your inflections, and generating an AI version of you doing the same thing.
So you moving your hands, it doesn't follow, but it reads your inflections in your voice, and it gives you hands in your video.
You know, it's something that just came to my mind that references back to the whole premise of the movie, AI generated. So if I'm a predator,
pornography?
if I'm a predator and I manage to get, in contact with a child and that AI is generating, I can create, you could create some kind of software that might generate that child.
It already exists.
Well, yeah,
it's
they
already been done.
already have.
There have literally been people arguing that the way to deal with pedophiles is not to arrest them and give them counseling, but
It's
to
give them
allow them
fake-
to use AI pornography. I'm not kidding, dude.
there's
This
already
is
been-
real. That's been a real discussion.
There's already been YouTubers
Yep.
that their faces have been put on other people's bodies with that face thing, whatever
Yeah.
it is, and
Right.
so they
Yep.
have porn of them out there that's not them, but it's their face.
Right. Deep.
Yep.
I think it's called deep
Deepfake.
fakes.
Yeah. So pretty much, but that's what AI has gotten.
But it's
to the
like
point
way
where
worse.
You
Right.
can literally, you can literally create.
There's a. Do you ever hear about the AI Drake song?
Oh, there's so many good AI songs.
Oh man.
There's
AI
a lot
Drake
of good,
is so
There's a lot
dope.
of good AI Kanye songs. Should we go there?
Yeah. Are we allowed to?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
It's like-
Let's get
it's like-
demonetized anyway. Let's.
yeah. Oh, I should be on the wide. Anyways.
What's it? AI Drake. It's the one with the guy with the bed sheet on his face, or there's like a.
All right. So they can't see this yet.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, so to go back real quick.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they can see us. Just so you know.
okay, so the whole Apple thing. Now, have you heard what's been going on with Alexa? And
That
stuff?
one? Daniel.
Yeah, the one. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Have you guys heard what's?
This is AI, by the way.
Well, just you say your point, Steven.
Okay,
I'll go
go
to
ahead.
this.
So you know that all technology is listening to us at all points.
Yeah.
So like the Alexa, it's listening for the cue of Alexa, but it's listening to us.
It has to be listening
has to
all
be
the
listening.
time to hear that. Yeah.
So someone got locked out of their Amazon account because they said something that went against a political belief, and it was listening to the point where he made a comment that wasn't bad, but they took it as racist, and they locked him out of his Amazon account.
Okay. How can I find this?
Oh, it was.
I
I'm
feel
pretty
like
sure
we
it was
need to-
Michael Knowles that was talking about it, and
I trust Mikey, bro. I would trust Knowles with my life.
and Matt Walsh, but they were like this guy, like, or it was Tim Pool. It was Tim Pool talking about it, but like they're listening to the point where if you get to the point where they can think you said something bad, they can literally lock you out of your home because all of our homes have integrated into this technology.
Yep.
So that's my point. Is it's all.
So I tend to be a very slow adopter of technology just because I don't want my house to be controlled by somebody elsewhere.
Bro, I'm gonna be a hobbit. By the time I die, like right now, I make my money off being like super plugged into tech. By the time I die,
what you
I'm
do
gonna
is-
be like Amish.
What you do is you take your wealth and you just
What wealth?
move to like El Salvador and just
You love El Salvador, dude. You know, you talk to Joey. Have you met Joey? You met Joey at Gwendolyn's first birthday, right? He's also really big on El Salvador, but not because of Bitcoin, but because of their current president.
Okay.
Oh,
Bukele.
Nabib Bukele?
Yeah, he's
Totally
great.
based.
You gotta talk to Joey.
Yeah. Okay. L.A. California has a rule where they can tell you how long you can charge your Tesla for your electric car.
Even though they're making everyone go to
Even though
electric.
they're going to make it to where you can only charge it for so long. So there's also they've put inputs in cars that they can turn your car off because they're all electric. If you drive too far, all it
You're
takes
just
is
like halfway to Arizona.
You know what they're
boom.
you know
you've driven past your allowance.
you know what's going to take over electric vehicles? Hydrogen combustible engines. Toyota's already working on it, and California supposedly is building the infrastructure for all that.
You know what's going to take over? Diesel engines.
Bro, I'm gonna buy like a 1960s Chevy truck with no electronics.
You should
in it.
try to drive my father-in-law's Model T.
That'd be fun.
It's not fun.
Stick.
Oh no, worse. There's like 3 pedals. The ignition is on the. Oh, it's so
Flintstones.
weird. Driving a
Just
Model.
running.
Well, it's close to that, but not exact. But driving a Model T is a whole other experience. It took me like 15 minutes just to get the hang of it, just to go backwards, just to reverse. Anyway, AI Drake. Can we listen to
we're
that?
going to listen to AI Drake.
Yeah. Let me.
Eat your pizza.
How do we cam 4? Okay.
Okay. So this is 100% artificial intelligence.
I came in with my ex, like Selena, the flex, bumping Justin Bieber.
It sounds just as bad as it usually does.
She know what she need, all I need, all she blessed.
I was a fan of Drake when he first came out, and then he just went too extra for me. But this is like, if I didn't know any better, I'd say this is real Drake.
Oh yeah, dude. So we gotta go to AI Kanye.
Started in a wheelchair, now he's here.
There was even a part in that song where it's The Weeknd singing.
Oh yeah, dude. There's so much of this going on right now.
Yeah.
So
And
AI Kanye is huge.
I think so part of the reason I think if I remember correctly, actors are going on strike because the film studios are utilizing artificial.
Kanye, somebody that I used to know, cover.
What?
Listen. So it's just showing us, just so we know.
Johnny Cash, Barbie Girl. That's another one.
In fact, I'll just bring this back over here. We can just see they can just see us.
Yeah.
And
This is like college.
Well, so in their contracts, so Disney owns people's faces.
dude, that sounds like Kanye.
It's not auto-tune. That's the only thing I
That's
would
why
say
it's
about
like,
it.
yeah.
Wow.
That's weird. So yeah, Disney owns people's faces.
Oh yeah.
man.
If they've been in a movie,
Google owns your face. What? What'd you find?
Biden featuring Trump ends in Paris. AI cover. Are we doing this?
Let's start with Johnny Cash, Barbie Girl.
Okay.
I
Keep talking.
ruined it.
Keep talking. Johnny Cash, Barbie Girl, AI.
this is going down.
Frank Sinatra doing Little John's Low.
Here we go.
Hello, I'm not Johnny Cash.
Oh, it's there. I ruined it. Oh, this guy's great.
I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Life is blasted. It's fantastic. You can brush my
He is
hair.
rolling in his grave right now. What in the hell is happening?
Oh, come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Oh
'Cause
my
I'm in a
gosh.
Barbie
So
world.
there I ruined
I'm in
it.
a Barbie.
Did another one
Barbie,
where it was Frank
let's go
Sinatra doing Fly Me to the Moon, but it was Little John's Low. It might be a little bit much for your channel, but I think it was just equally as hilarious.
Frank Sinatra, Little John.
To the window, to
Oh, I've heard
the
this.
wall, until the sweat drops down my balls.
Oh, sorry.
Till all you bitches cry.
Oh no.
Oh no, I forgot about that part. I'm sorry.
You forgot that part was in the song. You know what the song is about.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't remember exactly every detail.
All right, guys.
words
This
speak.
I'm learning my YouTube lesson. This should have been a locals only stream.
No, well,
This
this
is-
half of the live stream will go
The
on
word
the local.
skeet.
Well, it's
itself
already on
is
YouTube, man.
terrible.
So this guy that does this, there I ruined it. Here, you know what? We almost got to.
Give him a shout out.
We almost got to go to. Oh, hold on. Let me get it. We got Bible verses up instead.
All the people that are like, this is a very great, wholesome Catholic channel.
No, they
Just
know.
dropped
They already
us.
We
know.
are.
Just dropped us.
Nickelback and Ray Charles.
What in the heck?
What you say? Never made it as a wise man. Couldn't cut as a poor man's feeling.
There was a video they did where it was just Michael Jackson going,
You know what the really popular one? I actually found this on Kyle Whittington's live stream. Is
I think it was the it's Snoop
this
Dogg.
one, dude?
Snoop Dogg's good one, too.
Let the bodies hit the floor, kids version.
My mom and I danced to Bodies at my wedding. The original, of course, not this one, but
Isn't this amazing? We should show this to John tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh no.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're slowly losing viewers. It's great.
Are we?
Yeah, we're 2 hours in.
They're like, this has gone downhill and it's terrible.
Oh man. All right. We're going back to cam 1 and getting off of that.
That was great.
that was amazing. Thank you for entertaining me.
Well, boys. Dang.
We went
2
downhill.
hours.
We gotta. Should we bring it back in or should we end it?
What do you want to do? You gotta go to the bathroom? Guess I gotta go to the
Do
bathroom.
we need a bathroom break? I can go to bath. We can do a break.
Bathroom break.
Do we need to do a break? Okay, we're gonna take a break, y'all. So we'll see you in a second here.
12:43.
Yep.
My
Slight
wife's
break,
texting
come
me.
back.
All right, we're off.
This has gone downhill so fast.
And we should be back on. We are live.
Can we get that verified?
Yeah, no, we're actually. I mean, I didn't end it on YouTube. I just turned our mics off. So, okay, this is a risky move, brothers. But we have a Zoom chat open, and I sent it in. This is so stupid. I sent it in the comments. There's only like 5 people watching though, so we should be okay. So if you want to hop in and just chat with us IRL,
do it.
Well, not IRL. You're not gonna, but like over Zoom instead of just in the comments.
Technically, it is still real life.
Please hop in, and once you hop in, we should see your mic and everything. We should be able to hear you. You should go live. Pro tip: if you join the Zoom call, mute the YouTube chat because otherwise you'll start getting that dual audio and you can hear yourself, and that's not good.
Yeah, put some chapstick on.
So yeah. Man, good night, huh?
Good night, man. This is fun. We should do
It
this
is
more
fun.
often.
We should do this more often. If you are watching after and you make it all the way to the deep end, you should say, what should they say in the comments?
OG
in the comments.
OG Drew the Catholic fan.
OG Drew the Catholic fan in the comments if you make it to the deep end. And yeah, maybe we'll do this like every once in a while. Just have like a boys chat about whatever.
It will blow up the next morning when everyone wakes up and you're like, oh, Drew did something. Oh,
And
they're
they'll be
talking about the movie.
And they'll
Oh my gosh, what the heck are they talking about now?
Yeah.
No AI. No AI.
It derailed fast, bro. It derailed fast.
Dude,
but
that's why I love you guys because we just get to go off on the deep end.
you can derail us fast, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Demonetize.
Mm-hmm.
Go big. Go demonetized or go home.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever get permission
Permission?
from the diocese for the
Yeah, I did.
the name of the
I did.
YouTube channel? Okay, cool.
did.
I didn't know that was public.
Luckily, that was before this episode.
the bishop's going to be watching. Like, yeah, I immediately regret my decision.
yeah. Oh man,
So funny.
bro! If Bishop Berg is watching on the deep end of this episode,
Okay.
I am taking the compliment.
I'm just saying, get an exorcist on here.
So I asked. I'm
Get an
considering
exorcist
it.
on here.
We're at the point where I'm starting to do like
Specific.
interviews, and that'll be the best way to do it. I feel like I got to get a couple more under my belt before I do something like that.
Okay.
But I will eventually. Yeah, I really want.
Please have me at that one.
Okay. Oh yeah, we get yeah.
I'm
totally.
genuine.
I would much
questions.
rather do one in person,
I agree. Don't
but
disagree.
it's hard. There's not a ton of them, so yeah.
I thought there would be more
No.
from the numbers I've been hearing.
Yeah, there's not one in our diocese, for instance.
I thought the bishop was the one.
Well, technically the bishop is. I would love to interview my bishop. It would not be like this though. It'd probably be like more formal, sit down, film it, edit it a little bit, you know. So we'll
extra
see.
care.
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
we have anyone in the Zoom yet?
I don't think so. Maybe no one wants to do that. David, why are you not doing that, bro?
Yeah, David, get on here.
Yo.
You're the one that's cracking jokes and dropping bombs on everybody.
David, I feel like this is your time to shine, dude.
Dude, go for it.
Let's make sure no one's in here.
Go for it.
No one's in here, bro.
Dang. Oh well.
David. No one
Sad
wants
day.
to talk to us.
No one wants
it's
to talk
only
to us.
like
That's okay.
12:45 at night where we're at.
Where we're at.
It's probably like 2 o'clock.
We have an East Coast guy in here.
Really?
So it's almost 2.
Bro, it's almost 1 here. It's almost 3.
Oh, it's
there.
almost 3.
It's 3 in the morning over there.
Oh, it's 12:45.
So we got to go to
It's 12:52.
So coworker and I have to go to Philadelphia for a conference.
I'm sorry.
I hate going to the East Coast. It's like, the time zone difference and like,
I go there all the time.
well, you drive, you don't fly
Yeah.
typically.
No, I don't.
But so anyway, we're just gonna watch the screen until
That's
someone
okay.
pops in.
I was
They're
gonna.
not coming.
They're not coming.
We can talk about something else.
So, anyways, now we're mellow. Pizza's been eaten. It's coming to a slow roll downhill.
It was a good movie. It was a
It
heavy
was a great
subject. It did what I think it was supposed to do. And
It was really
I
good.
think it's divine intervention that it came out when it did,
Oh, I agree.
considering all the things that have been,
Epstein?
all the things that have been
What?
revealed in the last 5 or so years.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Yeah, it was. I mean, This movie for me, so this movie is really important for me. Like, not just given that I did like a trip with this. Oh, is he in here? He says hello. Oh, David, you were in the bathroom probably. Get on the Zoom call, dude. Come hang out. We'll bring you on the chat. Like if you want.
Bathroom.
If you want.
He's on the Zoom call in the bathroom. That's why I was like, wait a minute. No.
Well, I just realized he said earlier, "Oh, I'll take a bathroom break as well," or something.
Okay.
And then he says, "I can see we have all lost our mind." Excellent. David, come on.
Get
the Zoom
on the
call.
Zoom, please.
He said, "Wait, let me close the door."
let me light a match. This is amazing.
David, do you use potpourri or
Angel Soft?
Poopery.
No, I can. Okay, so I have a theory about that.
Okay, about poopery?
Yeah, no, not a theory
movie.
of how you actually should use poopery. Because what is potpourri?
Spray it right on your butt.
No, so potpourri is a dish of flowers, right?
Yeah.
So poopery, everyone flushes and then
poop?
sprays to make the smell. But the point of potpourri is that you have a dish of an item that you can see that smells good. So poopery is meant to not be flushed; it is meant to be sprayed.
But you flush the poop. And
No. You leave the turd in the bowl, and then you spray the poopery so it smells good.
If anyone is wondering,
Oh my gosh.
if anyone is wondering why this stream got so weird, this movie's traumatic. We are coping, okay?
Is he here?
We are.
here.
Oh, yes.
Oh!
Wait, David, can you talk? Can you guys hear him?
No.
Oh, hold on. David, give me 1 second. If it's not your mic, it's probably me. Given that my whole everything tech has been bad this year, I'm going to blame me. And then if it doesn't fix it when I change this, then I will blame you. Oh, Zoom is turned off. Okay, David, can you hear us?
Oh, he just walked away.
Oh, he walked away.
I just see his background.
The world will never know. It should work now. I had Zoom turned off, so that would be
Okay.
why. So, okay, wait, hold on.
There
Let me
would
see.
usually
Does
be
this
some
work?
kind of static
Hold
if
on.
we hear him, right? Which screen's the
There we
live
go.
one?
Okay,
on
so
the right?
He's going to be on the right
Okay.
when he comes back in. Where'd he go? It's going to be really awkward. He's just going to...
This is authentic. It's
Hold
not
on,
awkward.
let me just put us here. There we go.
Okay.
Hey guys, you can always. This could be you.
This could be you.
You could be YouTube famous.
David, when you get back... Oh, his mic is muted. Okay. Well, we were talking about something
Poopery.
degenerate
Poopery.
before. Poopery. Oh,
Have you never thought
he's
about
back.
this?
He's back. Yo, David, you there?
Hold on.
So one sec.
Wait.
All right. Okay.
Can you
There
hear
it
him?
is.
Hey!
I just muted
Hey!
the video because I presume this is like 10 to 15 seconds ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's about, probably from your Zoom perspective to the video, 15. From our perspective to the YouTube, about 30.
All right,
Yeah.
real quick question. Where are you
Gotcha.
coming in from?
Oh, Canada.
I barely heard Daniel there.
Where-
I heard, where am I coming in from? So I'm from Edmonton, which is in the province of Alberta.
Okay, so you're in
That's
Canada.
the second most western province. So like BC's further west. It's on
Yeah.
the coastline.
Okay.
And then the next province over is Alberta.
Okay.
Edmonton is the capital city. It's not the largest city, but it's relatively close with Calgary.
Okay.
And that's like smack dab in the middle of that. So if you want to know where
Can you hear me?
I am in the world,
Yeah.
Google where rats live in the world map.
Hey, wait, David, can you hear them better now? Talk, Daniel.
Hey, can you hear me, David?
That's good. I can hear it.
Okay.
I
You're the country with the monopoly money.
I had it set to where you could only hear me, David. So
100%.
You
Okay.
said something about rats.
Yes. No, I was serious.
Oh.
Google where rats live in the world map.
And it's
And then look at North America.
Where rats live in the world now.
So are you an Oilers fan?
Yes, which is
Depressing.
presumably this is where I'm to get like about 70 to 80% of the suffering in my life.
now you know what it's like to be an Arizona sports fan in general, because the Coyotes that came from Winnipeg is always in bankruptcy and they got to get bought out by some rich dude, and then the Cardinals can't ever get to the playoffs to save their life, for the exception of that one time in 2008, and then the D-backs haven't won a World Series since 2001. So,
wait, David, you can't hear yourself.
It
Though,
doesn't
can you?
really seem like a great sports region, does it? So, like, I
very
really
dry.
only follow the NHL because, like a good Canadian. But like the Arizona
what makes a good?
Coyotes
What is a
are, like,
Canadian? That's a better Matt Walsh question.
What is a Canadian? A Canadian is someone who identifies as a Canadian.
Based.
Oh, I just
Identify as a
realized
Canadian, but tomorrow I might identify as a Bolivian. Who knows?
the super source. Wait, let me see if I can.
What was the okay? So there's a conspiracy theory about the Stanley Cup that the current commissioner of the NHL, as long as he is still in power, a Canadian team will never win the Stanley Cup ever again. Is that your belief, or is that like any validity to that? Or I don't know the specifics.
I don't think it directly has to do with him. I think there are a few factors going on that have severely limited Canadian teams in terms of their chances to win. One has been that, like, often guys will have partial no trade clauses where they give a list of teams that will not take a trade to, but they can be dealt anywhere else. And often it's 8 teams, and those 8 teams are the 7 Canadian teams and either Buffalo or Arizona as the 8.
Oh.
Really?
There's a lot of players who don't want to play in Canada, despite the fact that a large percentage of the league is obviously
From
like
Canada.
they're born in Canada, right? They're raised in Canada, but like they either don't want the spotlight because if they really wanted the spotlight, they'd play a sport that was actually popular, and they also the tax rate is much higher, so the take-home pay for NHL players already suffers from like taxes and agent fees and like lots of hidden costs.
Yeah.
And that tends to be worse in Canada. So if you're like there's like there's a concept of like a Canadian tax. If it's like, oh yeah, I will play for the Montreal Canadiens, I will play for the Toronto Maple Leafs, I will play for the Edmonton Oilers, but you just have to pay me like
$1 bazillion.
Because once you start factoring in all those extra fees, it works out to about the same.
Yeah.
Which means that in a salary cap league, and it's a hard salary cap, that's actually highly detrimental. But the upshot is like Canada actually has 2 legitimate cup contenders in there right now.
Toronto?
The Leafs, despite the fact that it would cause most of the nation to wail in sorrow if they ever actually won a cup, because most of the country hates the Leafs except for Toronto and like maybe a few surrounding communities. They legitimately have a Stanley Cup contender. The problem is a couple of their key players are up after this year, which means they could go to free agency or they could get dealt to the deadline, which I think is fairly unlikely.
Okay.
And that means, okay, if you're dealing like Austin Matthews, who's like a top 5 forward in the NHL, you're basically waving the white flag in terms of cup contention. The other team that's a serious contender is my team, actually, the Oilers, because they have the best player in the league and arguably the second best player in the league. If you look at the players who have led the league in like scoring totals in the last like 5 years or so, they're both Oilers. It's McDavid and Draisaitl. They carry the bulk of the load. The problem they've had is surrounding them with players who are not incompetent. That's been a real challenge.
Yeah.
Okay, so David, you also saw Sound of Freedom tonight. Totally, I'm taking you in a very different direction here.
He doesn't like sports.
I don't know anything about what you're talking about.
Hockey is violent soccer on ice.
And my beer is climbing. Do you see this? Look at this. It's what was your opinion on the film? He's like,
so I don't really have a lot of opinions about everything anyway. And by my standards, I have a lot of opinions on this film. The summation would be, I think it's an excellent film. I think it's it's a really tense drama. You could argue it sort of you could categorize it as a thriller. I think it sort of straddles the line between being a drama and a thriller. But either way,
I took it as a thriller.
It very much so, yeah.
Yeah, but you could also interpret it as like more of a character drama. It's kind of like it's got its foot in a few different genres. I think it's really well executed. I don't see any like technical aspects. I'm not a student of film, but I don't see anything where it's like this is clearly less well done than like.
I agree. That was so amazing.
I disagree. So the scene where there was the kid, so it was the beach raid scene, and then towards the end of that, where the kids are all kind of like happy that they're being saved and rescued, and then there's the little kind of place where that one kid was sitting, and then right directly behind him is this ocean, which I'm kind of like, okay, there usually would be like some sand and then a kind of a beach thing and then the water, but it's
Unless
just
it's an Infinity Edge type of deal.
True.
That's the thing you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're like the landscaping doesn't make sense.
I just saw that scene and I was thinking, they totally use CGI
What about
and
the
green screens for
CGI
that.
helicopter?
I've seen some,
I doubt
Christian films. Like, have you guys seen Courageous?
No.
Yes, I think so.
I don't know that one.
I just picked Courageous because it's like one of the ones that kind of had a little bit of it was a hit by like Christian film standards. It got like a wide theatrical release and did fairly well. And it's clearly a step down from like Hollywood production levels, but it's less of a step down than sort of what you're used to when you are watching these things that are basically at the level of student films.
Or Hallmark.
And so it was like, okay, it's like almost good enough to be like a theatrical release. So we're going to get behind this movie. That was sort of where it's at. This one is like, yes, but if you're nitpicking like a specific shot and how you would personally prefer to see it composed, you're already admitting it's basically on a level that's competitive with Hollywood productions. And the other thing is like Hollywood hasn't slipped in most aspects in terms of like the quality of the writing or the editing or the shot composition. I think where Hollywood films have really slipped in recent years is writing. And a little bit of directing.
Agreed.
And this one was a well-written film. So, like, I think when you take it on the whole, it's actually like a cut above just based on the fact that it was well-written. And you don't always get that.
I would
If
agree
gone
with
to
that.
see Indiana Jones 5 instead, I'm not sure I would be thinking, well, that was a good script they had there.
No, I think you're right, David. I think so. I think about this a lot because I love films. I mean, I make videos for a living, which is not the same as films, but I make videos because I can't make films, right? And
Tomato.
Yeah, the thing about where Hollywood is at is they have totally bought into the lie that like the technically prettiest film is the best film. And so they'll overinvest in CGI and cool shots and like interesting moments over story. But like ultimately those films, they might do well at the box office, then the big fat cats are happy, so no one cares. But in terms of like movies you'll think about 100 years from now, no one's going to be saying Black Widow. No one's going to be saying Thor. Because it's all pretty shots.
If you're invested in the stakes of the film, you're much less likely to do technical nitpicking. You notice bad CGI less when the bad CGI represents like something that is a serious threat to characters that you're emotionally invested in.
Right.
I don't think anyone is picking apart the Balrog from the Lord of the Rings movies because I don't even know how good that is. It doesn't matter. It's like a freaking Balrog.
This is why people like.
I'm concerned about the characters that it's chasing after, so I'm not even like that worried about whether it's.
This is why people prefer the original Star Wars trilogy because it was like you watch it and you like Yoda's obviously like a really like chintzy
puppet,
practical puppet, but you don't care. And same thing like with all the matte paintings. Like you could, if you really pixel like peeped, you could find them, but you don't care. You like lose yourself.
Don't care.
So not to derail the conversation, but David, I have to ask you. I just thought of this question earlier.
Oh, here it goes.
What do you know, or any statistics do you know about sex slave trade in Canada?
Oh, that's actually a good question.
Canada,
that's a good question.
I would have to actually do some research and figure out where it's going on. My gut reaction would be probably
I'm ruining my search history for this.
Located more around the three largest cities, which would be Vancouver, Montreal, and Toronto. But that might not necessarily be true. Maybe there's a big hot pocket of sex trade in Winnipeg. I mean, like, would you, as an international agent trying to stop sex trafficking, go out of your way to stop things going on in Winnipeg? I wouldn't.
Not in the winter.
Maybe that's where it's all at. So yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
I'm looking it up.
I'm
looking it up.
Okay, so I was aware that like sex trafficking was like a major problem like a decade ago because when I was going through Protestant churches, so I was going to the Contemporant par excellence church, So if you want to show a random video, see if you can find the Contemporary Church, because it is so true about like mega churches and sort of their style and culture. But anyways, that aside, they showed like a documentary about sex trafficking, and I think the thing was, at the time I didn't really have anything specific, like in a concrete way to act on it.
Where's London? Where's
Do
London,
something to make a
Canada?
difference.
I'm reading an article. Where's London, Canada? What
Oh,
province?
London? That's a relatively small city. So that's in Ontario. That's in the same province as Toronto and Ottawa.
So here's an
London's in the
article.
UK.
Here's an article from the Post Millennial saying that human trafficking increased 44% in Canada from 2018 to 2019, but experts are saying the problem is worse than the statistics indicate. The tip of the iceberg, one woman who works for the London Abused Women's Centre says that she personally saw 500 cases of human trafficking in the area which she works, and personally watched 480 women come through her door alone. So that the statistic is far too low and actually not the number. So it seems like it's still pretty bad in Canada. Maybe not as bad as here, or just not as well documented, but still really horrific.
Yeah.
I don't think you could find probably a country at this point that doesn't have at least a little bit of a problem with this.
Yeah.
Maybe North Korea, like, because they've just got a whole bunch of.
Then you're just getting into Yomi Park's. No, now you're getting into Yomi Park's story.
If everyone's a
fake
slave,
fat
no
kids.
one's a slave, right?
They got fake fat kids.
Yeah, it's like you're double layered slave at that point. But the one
It's
thing I was
slavery
going to
with
say
extra
is, like,
steps.
could you imagine trying to be a census taker for like trying to gain accurate statistics on the sex trade? It was like, oh hi, I'm just here to get accurate information about how prevalent the sex trade is.
Right.
Don't worry, I'm not going to turn you in. I just need this for informational.
Hello, sir. Welcome to your purely confidential government survey. I'm just here to ask you, have you ever human trafficked a girl for sex? Yes or no?
I see you're pointing a gun at me. Let me go to that portion.
I will quickly mark no and do not contact again because you have pointed a gun at me, though I clearly see a woman there that is clearly a hooker.
And
Yeah.
underage.
And underage, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's the problem with statistics is like you have to survey people and people lie on surveys.
Mark Twain, I shared this in a seminar one time I did a while back. Mark Twain once said that there are three kinds of lies: damned lies, and statistics.
Yeah.
Well, here's the tricky part about statistics, and I should be an authority because I just took a statistics course, therefore I know everything about the subject.
Based.
Yes.
The problem is sometimes it's a lie and sometimes it's not, and it's not always clear when it's which.
You have to do so much work to find
Okay,
out.
but here's the problem.
Yeah, that's the
You
thing, right?
have-
need to kind of
Sometimes
you're
what
talking
you have to do is you have to understand the fact that there is conflicts of interest, and if you
else?
don't like the numbers, change the math. That's all you got to do.
Crawling up the
So
wall.
you're really relying on
What?
the
Oh, I see what you
interpreter of the data being relatively honest. Like I don't think total objectivity is necessarily something that is
Statistics and sola
either
scriptura,
possible
same problem.
or something we should necessarily strive for. I think we should just strive for trying to compensate for our known biases.
David, did you hear my
essentially.
joke?
Sorry?
Your point was brilliant, and I'm so sorry to ruin it with this joke, but did you hear my joke? I said statistics and sola scriptura, same problem. Up to the interpreter.
So yeah, sola scriptura can totally work as long as you are completely objective, know everything about tradition, know the context. Of the
Daniel's
church
just like-
fathers, know, the context
Above
of first
my
century.
pay grade.
Have a background in Jewish literature, Jewish culture, Jewish traditions, and
I tried this.
essentially-
But isn't the Latin translation of the Bible flawed to some degree, or have some flaws?
Yeah, but that's why we depend on tradition.
Yeah, it's true. That disproves Catholicism. Oh well.
All right.
Art is a lie. Nothing's real.
All right.
The Vulgate has about as many transcriptancies as any of the translations.
Well, so like Dennis Prager will say that like the problem with a lot of modern translations of the Bible is in the original Hebrew, the word for thou shalt not
Murder
murder,
and
but
kill.
the word they use in the English is kill, which if that's the case, then we are going to hell for all the flowers we have decapitated and the cows that we have slaughtered.
The only problem with that is if you
horrible-
filter it through tradition, anyone that translated it "kill" in English would have known that it doesn't mean kill.
Kill.
anything. Yeah, they would have.
Well,
they would have
malicious
known.
intent
So,
of
yeah,
killing.
exactly.
My curiosity with that is, does he take into consideration the Septuagint, or does he just go straight?
Yeah, transliteration and translation history are very important there. Yeah.
Sorry, who's the he taking into
Dennis
consideration?
Prager.
Dennis
Prager.
We're talking about a
Dennis
guy
Prager,
that
okay,
thinks
okay.
pornography is kind of okay. All right, moving on.
Well, no, I was going to rehash the entire Reformation with Daniel. That's what I've been trying to do the entire time.
Dude, it is way too late.
No.
I
it's
am
only
not
one
near
more
near
exactly
drunk
the
enough to
perfect
have this conversation with you, David. No more. No
This
more.
is my last Modelo, and I was going to give it to you.
Is it warm?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was in the.
It's warm though. I'm
Want me
kind of
to
Okay,
pee in
so-
it
So
and make
we've
it
only
warmer?
got like 500 years of history to go over. How long could that take? 20 minutes? 30 minutes?
I can do it in 5.
We can do it in 5.
They had problems. Their solutions were shit.
right.
Amen.
Okay, here. Okay,
30 seconds. I said shit on my own live stream now twice.
I've said bad things.
When we actually went live, you cursed within the first 30 seconds.
yeah, because of you.
So okay, speaking of curse words, there was this guy that I once watched who was talking about the Bible and the language. So to help make the Bible more appropriate for the grannies in the auditorium,
they changed it to seed.
they changed certain words to be less offensive. So instead of like the issue of these guys were like, I can't remember
The issue, the members of horses and issues of donkeys, Ezekiel 23:20.
right, but instead of saying issue, they like if you go back and look at the original Hebrew, they basically say donkey D.
Yeah.
I want to raise a different one. The one I want to raise
Oh
is
Lord.
whether you decide to translate the word in the New Testament as servant or slave. The problem is neither word really captures the role that the people that it's referring to actually
Butlers,
had
right?
in that.
Doulos,
Because
yeah.
as soon as you say slave, that might be more technically correct, but in that they were
butlers.
they had masters, so they weren't just free to like quit and run off and do something else. But it also evokes all this stuff of like either
Modern slavery,
like the southern,
like this whole
like,
movie,
black slaves, or like apartheid, and has all these racist overtones, and that's not necessarily the case.
Well, so
'cause
like Hebrew has like
it's
13 different words for love.
You're thinking Greek, bro.
Yeah.
Oh no, is that Greek?
Greek
I thought it was
has-
Hebrew.
Hebrew has
4?
I don't know if Hebrew has a shortage of words. Greek has an abundance.
Okay, so it's probably
You're
Hebrew.
You're talking Greek.
I thought it
The
was.
reason why I bring that up
Agape,
is
eros, all that.
Yeah, okay,
That's
okay,
Greek.
never mind.
wouldn't
Yeah,
it
you're
be great if there was some kind of like central authority that could just settle these issues and give authoritative
I feel like I'm getting shot at through Zoom right now, bro.
Turn
Just
your mic
because,
down, dude.
just because I'm Protestant. Oh my gosh.
David, didn't slavery take like kind of like this
Okay.
weird turn because of certain groups of Christians?
Weren't there certain
There's a lot of weird
Christians-
turns. I'm having trouble identifying which specific one you're trying to reference.
David, was there a specific group of heretic Christianity that reinterpreted the scripture to support their demented idea of human ownership?
Oh, you mean non-Catholic?
Was there a branch of Christianity that banned slavery? Like,
Do you
from
want
its
me to
inception?
go home? Or do you want me to go home? Is that what you want?
No, it's
I feel
true,
like
there
I'm
are
so like underwater
Don't
right now, guys.
worry.
Gosh, I'm trying.
Daniel, don't
You're on a
worry.
Catholic
You're our
podcast,
brother
bro.
in
I know.
Christ, and we love you and we
By
appreciate
baptism,
you.
yeah.
And we love and
Yeah.
appreciate you so much that we just want you to get 5 more sacraments.
Wait, what are the first 2?
Well, they got marriage and they got baptism.
Oh,
Right?
marriage. I'm so glad you said marriage.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's like
Wow.
no, they also just randomly have holy orders, despite
just-
the fact that
No, I was thinking
Okay.
most of them would say
Okay,
that the
hold on.
ordinances are
Hold on,
baptism and
time out.
Eucharist.
Time out. The only Gregorian chant that I know is the theme song to Halo, and
Doesn't count.
and I would also say that
I'm
contemporary
gonna
Christian
play it.
music is way better than your guys' music, which is like centuries old.
Whoa!
Well, that's actually why it's proof that Catholicism is true. If the church is not sunk by 70s folk music, it must come from God.
What the hell's happening right now?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
All right, Steven, give me more water. Give me that beer.
No. So
Give me that beer, please.
So if we're to
Oh my
look at the
gosh.
Western civilization
need
as
the can
a
opener.
new Rome, and it's about to fall, which direction did Rome go?
Well,
Wait,
it
what
may
was the
have
question?
lasted longer because it got baptized.
Hey, based.
But it did fall away, and Christianity was the one thing that was left. So there is something to be said for that.
So I
The
mean,
thing is, I wonder if like there is going to be a fall, but it won't look exactly like the way we've
Constantinople.
seen civilizations fall in the
You're
past.
just saying city names.
Like it might not look like a complete societal collapse. It may look like more of like because a collapse is like the invaders are
Can everybody hear
coming, like everyone scatters to the four corners of the earth, like the structures are taken. Maybe it just looks like it's such a complete disintegration of like societal
David, can you hear the song
units and
too?
glue that it turns into it's still there, but it's just completely impotent.
well,
I kind of think that's the way we're going. I don't think there's a major rising power that threatens to overpower us. Because you could say China, but I think China is like a glass cannon. At this
China
point.
has their own problems. So, like, our inverted pyramid for our population between young and old is bad, but in China is so much worse because we are now looking at of what the fruits really are of the one-child only
Oh, he
policy.
decided to drink the warm beer, huh?
It's almost like
Can you hear this music that's playing right now? I feel like we're gonna go go storm some
influencing
jungle in the south
the
of Congo.
propagation of the species, because I'm very concerned about demonetization at this point, because it obviously wouldn't have happened by now.
It's in the middle of the night.
It's a bad idea.
I'm trying to find the Halo 3 theme, but I don't know what the name of it is.
Just look up the monk version on
No,
YouTube.
it's
I asked because you had it was you that brought up the turning of the tide, right, with this movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's why I was curious if
I think, yeah, I have a
What
sense
year?
Here it
it's
is.
coming.
you have a what?
Like, did you? So I'm curious about your guys' thoughts on this. So during the delightful secular holiday that was the high holiday of all months last month, which I will not mention
LGTV.
because again, very concerned about demonetization.
All hail.
Did you notice that there was just way less of it? Like,
Yes.
Oh,
fewer
yeah.
companies with the rainbow logos and just like less stuff going, hey, look
The
at this
Profile
We're
picture of
clearly
these
allies.
companies changed for one day, and then like, nope, we're done.
Yep.
No, I
And
noticed.
it wasn't a big backlash thing because there wasn't this huge backlash that caused it. It
Because
was just,
Bud Light got hammered. Their sales are destroyed. I don't know anyone in our age group other than like hillbillies, hicks, and people who hate themselves that drink Bud Light. And sales are just destroyed.
well, first of all, you shouldn't be drinking Bud Light because you need to love Jesus and not hate yourself. Second of all,
For,
what's their target demographic? It's like a bunch of,
boomers.
like
It's all boomers.
it's boomers, but it's also like the, I hate to say it, but the room temperature IQ crowd. I'm not saying you're automatically dumb if you're drinking Bud Light. You just might be extremely ignorant too.
So here's my thing. So my dad's generation, which he's Gen X, and then like my grandpa's generation, they're totally boomers, right?
Mhm.
Anyone that drank beer for those two age groups, it was all Bud Light, Miller Light, all the Coors Light and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you're taking a boomer product and you're trying to market it to a Gen Z audience, and then it's the go woke go broke principle.
Yeah,
And-
but I think the boomer crowd is like on the whole more
Sorry,
woke
there's just
than like
bottles on-
younger generations, to be honest.
You keep going. Yeah.
Because like they're all the ones that are like the ex-hippies who are like, oh, clearly what we need to do is just, this is a continuation of the sexual revolution, and it really is. So we're going to get on board. I feel like that's who's kind of carrying the torch. I feel like there's like those of us who are wary of it are in the minority in, like, let's say millennials and the Gen Z crowd, whatever you want to call them. Like, the people who are actively wary of it are the minority. But like, I think the maybe the biggest group is the ones that just don't care that much. It's kind of all passe to them.
Yep.
I think that's why
I get a lot of that from like the Gen Z crowd, and a little bit less so with millennials, but it's still there too. It's like they just don't care. It's like, yes, for some of them, it's very important that they identify as allies, or they identify as this, or identify as that. Great, you go have your identity.
I don't know how much of American politics you follow, but John F. Kennedy, his nephew is running for the Democratic ticket in the 2024 election, and a lot of moderates really appreciate and identify with what he's been saying. So CIA killing
JFK.
Bro. Okay,
we're too far gone.
Okay.
David has committed to single-handedly paying for my family's life.
Okay.
Right? Hey, you got that Canadian
At least until
money.
my wife catches wind of what our budget now looks like.
Yeah, boy.
So with RFK Jr. running for president, kind of saying what is being said out loud, how the CIA killed his uncle, but then also
He's
lot of
right.
right. So
what
his stances on things like the industrial complex in the pharmaceutical industry, I'll leave it at that. Amongst other things, he's basically trying to bring his party back to that moderate, what the good old Democrats used to be, like JFK was. But I think he has no chance just because he's so moderate, and he's trying to bring that culture back to what it used to be.
We're trying to get back to just cheating on your wife.
Honestly,
Marilyn Monroe much?
Moderate. I don't know what I would do in terms of like voting for people in the States. Like, I think the only thing I could possibly think of is because I really dislike Trump. It's not even particularly policy things, though. If I tried to dig through everything he did, I'm sure I would find like particulars that I would disagree with too. It's mostly just like, I don't think you should be electing this guy as leader of any nation. I think he disqualifies himself in terms of like, there's a certain bare minimum of character that you should attain if you're going to run for like leader of the country and self-appointed leader of the free world. Sorry, I'm Canadian. I have to get out a little bitterness about America.
It's okay. We like you guys being our hat.
Okay, so JFK, he's a Kennedy, and he's more of a sort of center left, center right kind of candidate. Great.
He was a Knight of Columbus. Let's go.
But how's he going to possibly?
There's no way in God's green earth he's going to
like
get anything
so far to the left that they won't let him get it.
I was gonna say, here's the problem with American politics, David, is what you said about Trump. He just did out in the open, but we know that everybody's in the same boat in terms of character.
He just had Twitter.
Yeah, well, if Trump wouldn't have had Twitter, we wouldn't have known.
I only need one issue to disqualify Biden in my mind, and that's like a terrible track record on abortion. That's enough to completely disqualify him.
And gay marriage and racism.
I can't vote for you.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, it's this is a weird follow-up question to all of that hopelessness about our homeland, but when are you going to move to America?
Jeez, people keep trying to talk me into moving into various places.
Bro, you want to move to Montrose? It's expensive, and there's a lot of like leftist policies just overruling here, so it feels just like Canada, right?
You fit right in.
That makes me think I should move someplace else is like, I have a very poor sense of smell, but you know what's the one scent that always comes through? The smell of weed.
Oh, I was going to say
don't. Oh, no. Our particular city, you would be okay.
And now it's more prevalent, and I occasionally just walk through places and I smell it, and I'm like, can you at least not do edibles?
Right. If you move to Colorado, in Montrose, you would probably be okay. Because, like, I don't smell weed.
Everywhere else.
But anywhere else in Colorado that's not the Western Slope, you'd smell it. And if it's, like, one of the pockets in the Western Slope that's like, yeah, man, weed, you'd smell it. Mm-hmm. But where we live, I never smell it. Except, well, our neighbors right now, they're kind of potty.
I would say the major reason I would not consider moving someplace else, because like I mean, you're not the first person to invite me to live somewhere. I don't know why people want
Is
me
everyone
around.
going
So I
like,
think
oh,
I'm better at
David,
small
move to
doses.
Steubenville?
No, the other place is like I have a couple of friends who live in like Salmon Arm, BC, which is kind of a more rural district. It seems like it would be a nice place, and it would be probably a little bit easier for me to kind of plug into a Catholic community there than the luck I'm having here. But again, the problem is, well, I have cats. No, it's not mainly cats. It has more to do with the fact that so we have something here called being a supportive roommate, and essentially the means is that we get paid by the government to help support in various ways, either through practical things like cooking or just other means of like getting a person around, so that a person with some disabilities is able to kind of live a little bit more independently than just living at home. So I do feel like this is something of a calling for me and my wife, and I don't think it would be terribly easy to just up and move, especially since I don't think she would want to go anywhere at all, especially because her family is in Edmonton.
We have a friend.
We're just outside of Edmonton. We're in Leduc, which is like a little south of it. So I don't think she wants to be more than 30-ish minutes away from her family. So I think as long as she's living here, I'm not even going to be considering.
What if you had an executive director position at a charity that does exactly that? I'll stop. No, we'll you're good. Stay where you are. You'll fly down and hang out in the mountains. Are you in the mountains where you live?
What's the elevation?
Yeah.
Elevation's
no
actually
idea.
pretty high. I don't remember what it was from the last time I looked it up, but
It's grown since then.
it's fairly high. Edmonton. Well, I think it's been more than that.
Oh, you're in Edmonton.
Elevation is about 650 meters. If you go south to our
Meters.
Crap. Okay.
David,
Stop.
You're talking to Americans
Stop.
on beer. We've had a couple beers. You got to tell us
In Fahrenheit, please.
I don't want kilometers per hour. I want eagles per freedom.
I'm going to double down, and I'm going to tell you it's Celsius now.
No. Not. As someone who blatantly admits
600
the
meters.
metric system is superior, I don't know it. So you got to translate.
Joshua Harris.
How many
not
meters?
Josh
What'd you
Harris.
say? How many?
600?
Josh Harris. Yeah.
600. That's nothing. How many meters?
Meters.
650 meters is 710 yards.
Feet.
So
That's only
it's actually really
it's
close.
2,100 feet.
So it's 21.
We're 5,600 feet in Montrose.
Oh, Phoenix is 1,100.
Oh, so we're higher?
So
Yeah,
We're higher
a
by
little bit
higher.
I would
This
just
is Colorado
say if you
Rocky
get
Mountain
meters,
High.
I would say just add a little bit to it to get yards. A meter and a yard are not that far apart. It's when you start getting into like centimeters and inches and feet that it starts to become a little bit more murky about how to convert them.
Yeah, your
But,
guys'
yeah,
numbers
a
are
meter-
a lot lower than ours.
You can have like a yardstick and it also has meters on it and they're comparable in length.
So Josh Harris, that former Vice journalist guy, he did a video and he said even if the United States switched over from our system to
Imperial to metric.
or imperial to metric, none of us would have no idea what the heck we're doing just because it's so ingrained into
You know
how
what's
we do
funny?
things.
We got rid of British rule, except for the what's it called? Imperial system. Isn't that funny? That's just you can't make it up.
I mean, our
Well,
laws
because
are
you
based
measure
on
everything
common
by
law.
it, clearly you are still enslaved to the British. I
Yeah.
think you guys need to
Oh, yeah.
start.
I would
Even the
disagree.
British are
I would
not
disagree.
enslaved to the
I would
British.
disagree. Okay, so in
We
my
are.
job, hold on. So in
No, guys, I know why. So, metric system, everything's smaller, right? So, we have this thing called tiny dick syndrome, where if we measure in inches, it sounds bigger.
Inches, manifest destiny, dollar reserve, currency.
So
There's a complex for sure.
So each
I think if you're starting to care about the units by which you measure a certain part of the male anatomy, I think you're clearly in Venielson territory.
You're in Andrew Tate territory.
Well, I'm just saying, America had an issue that they were trying to fix.
They did not have a donkeys issue. Let's just be clear.
Finally, an explanation that covers everything.
Yes.
Unlike America's issue. Oh my gosh. Wow, boys.
That's amazing.
This stream has gone off the wall.
So Colorado is common law based state.
I bet if I
Arizona
look at my subscribers, I lost subscribers from the stream.
Arizona is Spanish law, and Louisiana
I told you way earlier in the chat. You're going to
French.
delete this from your channel a half hour after it's
No. I refuse.
It's going to happen.
I refuse.
You're going to go to bed and you're like, no, I got to
being
take this off
demonetized
my
and
channel.
delisted on YouTube is a badge of honor.
I think that being demonetized on YouTube is a crown in heaven. So I'm going there. And if I can get there before Matt Frad does, more power to you, mate.
Me and Drew did a rebuttal video that was 3 episodes long, and that one he will not let.
I
go.
won't post that because I got mad.
Yeah, we got a little.
We got a little mad.
So, who were you rebutting?
Okay, David, I will message you privately. I will not say it out loud because there's a certain someone who might watch this stream that will do a certain, shall we say, close to the ground, suspended. Vegetal, not vegetal, but the opposite of vegetal episode on it. And
is this a rebuttal of someone whose initials are like WJ, but just in the other order?
No.
Okay,
I just don't want
checking.
Kyle Whittington to do the video before I do. That's what I'm trying to say.
I would trust Kyle about as far as I could throw him. Although, if he's really tiny, maybe that's not so bad.
He's tall.
It's really hard to tell how large or small.
I've never met him in person, but from what everyone has said, he's tall. But also, I got accused of being Kyle Whittington's AI, so that he has double the subscribers today. So I don't know, man. Someone accused me of that. My mic. I was in a Discord chat on the Pints of the Quina server, and my mic was glitching out. And they're like, "Well, Drew is just Kyle's AI channel, so that he actually has double the subscribers." And I was like, "No."
I actually can't tell people apart if they have beards. All bearded people look the same.
No. It's the
kind of
long
like a
hair.
racist
This is the differentiator.
Kind of racist.
The bun. Look at the bun. Yeah. Kyle only has a tobacco pipe in his profile photo. I have a tobacco pipe in this. You can't see this. In this locker, and usually in my hand, at most times of the day.
We did.
We're different.
We did a conversation. I smoked a cigar. You had your.
We did.
your
We
pipe.
did. We did.
Maybe we should just start a petition to have like a stream from Kyle where it's just him smoking a pipe to prove that he's done it once in his life.
The problem is he's in.
Because I'm not sure I believe.
It's fake news. Okay, nobody has seen Kyle smoking a pipe. This guy, Kyle, you know him. You know Kyle. He doesn't smoke a pipe. It's fake news.
It's go to Eminem. Who? Who? When he asked about who?
Kyle
Afrojack.
Whittington and Justin Castro.
Who?
Are smoking a pipe. Fake news. Who? Wow, we have really gone to the deep end.
It's 1:30.
It's 1:36.
I have a date.
You got a date at 8?
8.
Jamie has a thing with a bunch of other ladies at
You got
9.
that's the word.
Wait.
A thing?
I have a thing.
8 a.m.?
Thing?
Yeah,
She's
I have
going to another lady's house to learn how to bake sourdough.
That's pretty cool. Wait, who?
I don't.
So you're serious? You have a date in the morning and you're still on this stream?
Yeah.
Steven doesn't sleep anyway.
I have insomnia. So.
Well, yeah, clearly.
Don't worry,
I've
he'll
been
be
up
up.
late like the last while, so I'm like wide awake at this point. I probably should go to bed soon, but
Yeah.
I'm
Well, you're committed.
little
You're
wired.
com-
I went to bed late last night and
I am
had
committed.
to wake up and go golf, and then
Oh, you know what?
I had to
Can
do it again
can I do
tonight.
this over this? Oh, it does show. We'll end here. So, everybody good to end? We're good to end?
Final thoughts, really quick.
Final thoughts. Yeah. David, what are your final thoughts? We'll start with you.
Oh, good grief. Okay, so if you've watched this far, you've clearly made a mistake. You need to repent.
we
go
meant
to
about
Jesus,
the movie.
Me?
Join the Holy Catholic Church, including you, Daniel. And then after you've done an appropriate amount of penance, then you can watch the rest of this.
What about the movie?
was pretty good.
Okay. All right.
It's an honor, David, for you to roast me on the internet.
Okay, David, I'll still leave you in the audio, but I'm going to cut to Steven and Daniel. Steven, what are your last thoughts here?
Go see the movie.
That's his final thought. You can't copy.
No, he
it's
said it was pretty
copyrighted.
good.
Okay, yeah. Go see it.
Yeah, just go see it. It's good. It's
see it.
pretty good. To quote somebody.
To quote the legendary David, should be a lawyer subpoena. Oh yeah. Okay, Daniel.
If it's okay, it's like pi squared out of 10.
All right, Daniel, final thoughts.
According to the United Nations, an estimated 2 to 5% of global gross domestic product. You're talking about a
Always goes finance.
98
Makes sense.
plus $1 trillion economy is
Billion. Sorry.
98 plus $1 trillion global economy. 2 to 5% is estimated to be laundered into businesses, including but not limited to sex trafficking.
Wow.
And stuff like that.
Wow.
I'm gonna do something that not a lot of people do and provide a potential solution, and that is fix the money, fix the world, because the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Bitcoin.
Ooh, I have a thing that could fix it all. Become Catholic.
Yes. Actually, I have something I want to jump back in, but I think we should let Drew give his...
No. You jump back in real quick. I like to end.
Okay, sounds good. So I would say, if you're looking for concrete steps, I mentioned it earlier in the chat, but I don't expect anyone to actually read any of those messages. The first step that a lot of people will need to make is to break a habit of pornography. Because if you are on that, you are already on the spectrum that will slide down to sex trafficking if it lets go long enough. You probably need to tell someone, and you probably need to make concrete steps to get yourself away from it.
Yes.
Do that, because as long as you have that habit, even if you're like sympathetic to like, yeah, we should really do something about that, Satan will use that to shame you into controlling you to away from actually doing anything concrete about sex trafficking. So start there if that's a problem area.
Wow, that was amazing.
Why couldn't he go last?
Yeah, you should have gone last, because I'm not going to say nearly.
I offered. I'm like, okay, Drew, you go first. I have something I want to chat.
Well, I think that's that's really good. We didn't even talk about that. I'm going to be honest. This stream got derailed by the fact that we were like in the zone and not live, and then I was like, oh, we're not live yet. So that's my fault.
We had a good 30 minutes.
We did have a good 30 minutes.
Lesson learned.
Yeah. My final thoughts are this. First off, everyone has said go watch the movie. This movie needs to be what it wants to be. It needs to be a cultural tour de force. It needs to be a turning point. It needs to be something that everyone that wants to see it sees it, and everyone who doesn't want to see it sees it. We need to make this so loud that people who have nothing to do with the church, nothing to do with God, still go and see it. Because even though it's like, oh, he's a Christian, Jim Caviezel and Tim Ballard, whatever. If people who are not Christian watch it, I don't think any human being that's not completely desensitized, demoralized, and brainwashed to their very core can watch this without wanting to do something about it. 90% of human beings on this planet will watch this and go, this is real, that's evil. And if you look into it, you'll find it's real, and you'll know it's evil, which will lead you to believe that there is a battle between good and evil right now in our world. It's very real. It's very visceral. All of us are either complacent to it or we're awakened to it. And if we're awakened to it, we can do something about it in our local communities where we have impact, and federally in your own country where you don't have as much impact, but you still have some impact. Beyond that, this is not just about people. It's not just, oh, that particular human being is kidnapping this girl. This is a spiritual, demonic thing. This Satan mocks and destroys. And the thing he loves to destroy most is sexuality, because that is the place where human beings get to co-create with God. When you conceive a child, you and your wife, or if you're a woman, you and your husband, get to co-create with God a unique human life form, someone in God's image that also is in the image of you and your wife, and Satan hates that most because he can't do anything like that. And that's why sexuality's been destroyed, and that's why Satan loves to attack children. Because as God loves the creation, human beings love their children. And as Satan hates God, he hates our children, because that's where we get to participate with God the most. And so all of this comes down to that. It's spiritual warfare. It's demonic. Our Lady of Fatima, I'm not usually the guy that talks about apparitions on live streams. Our Lady of Fatima, a lot of the Marian apparitions that are verified by the church say the last great attack will be between the church and the secular world over the family. This is proof. It's evidence that that is true. It's happening in our time. It might not be like the end of the end, but we are facing a confrontation. We need to rise to the occasion. We need to pray. We need to fast. We need to sacrifice on behalf of the children in this issue. And we need to wake up. So that's my final take, I guess.
Lady of what?
Our Lady of Fatima. It's a Marian apparition in 1916 or 15 or whatever. 17.
What?
Drew is literally the only person I know who pronounces it Marian.
You say Marian, yeah.
So
yeah,
just be aware that those are
the
supposed to
same.
be the same word.
Drew is a problem because he pronounces it wrong. I'm just kidding. With that, yeah, I don't know. If you think I'm not totally crazy and this wasn't a waste of time, then subscribe, I guess. So.
We should do this again.
We should do this again. We'll do this again. Go watch the movie. What are you doing?
Go watch the movie.
You watching right now. You see my face and his face and his face, and you see David's face in the corner there to you down there. Go watch the movie.
We'll take the money that you gave David and we'll pay.
No, David gave us money.
But didn't he also give money to?
Back, actually.
Didn't he give money so that way we can give that to somebody to go see this movie?
David single-handedly.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with you keeping that one as long as you give it away. But I need I have to look up the federal tax rate here and then compare it with.
No, your tax rate's way high, bro.
So wait, did you give 20? So you want 30 back?
No, he gave like $40.
And you got to remember to carry the one.
Wait.
What's the U.S. dollar doing against the Canadian dollar right now?
So my chat revenue.
Talk about that in Canada.
So YouTube gives you an actual conversion rate. My chat revenue on this stream is $39.92.
Hey.
Okay, but Richard gave us 99 cents. So it's like $38 and change.
Wow.
Like barely. It's like $39.
Okay, not bad.
David's the man.
You are the man, David.
So you want 42 back?
Whoa! So interest?
42.
In Canadian
Hey,
dollars.
factor in exchange rates before they.
I'm just saying that most popes have said that usury was a sin, so I'm not giving him interest.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not. It's not interest. It's the exchange rate. Somehow he gets more back.
No.
Well, actually, can I just have like $10,000 in an interest rate? I think
Daniel will hook you up.
Pesos.
Daniel will hook you up. He's got you. All right, everybody.
Pesos.
Thank you so much.
So.
Thank you so much for watching our stream. Man, this has been a wild ride. The actual live time was 3.5 hours, which means we've been going for like 4 hours. If you got to the deep end, let me know in the comments. Comment something crazy. I'll figure it out. Like and subscribe. Go to drewthecatholic.locals.com to fund my inevitable cancellation.
Go see the movie.
Check
out Operation Underground
Railroad. Because God's
Google
children are not
for sale.
sale.
See you guys.
See y'all.